What's up, people? What is going on? Welcome back to another episode of the O.O.C. Got the crew in the house. Got Mr. Roberto and Danny Graham of Comic Chat in the house. What's up, guys? You guys are still muted, so unmute your mics and talk to the people now.
Just when I thought I had it down packed. Bam!
It's okay. We're getting there.
What's up, people? What's good?
What's up, man? How y'all doing?
Doing good, doing good. Talk about your channel, Danny. Tell the people about your channel, where to find you.
I'm Danny Graham, aka Comic Chat. You can find me on Chaos Central Monday through Wednesday nights, along with my brother up top, Nzo and Chris Knight. We do Chaotic Conversation Monday nights, Chaos List Tuesday nights, and Rule of 3 on Wednesday nights. And of course, we're going to start 2 shows Saturday and Sunday. Is going to be the Roundtable. It's only going to last 5 weeks, thank God. For the Hawkeye Roundtable. Catch us at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Square One, where the 4 of us, the three gentlemen you see here, along with Chris Knight, where we discuss NFL and NBA topics. NBA had a lot of things, including LeBron James got suspended for a game.
Mm-hmm.
So check us out. We're going to discuss that, man. We usually have pretty good topics, pretty good opinions on different perspectives. So thank y'all for always supporting us on those shows, man. And of course, this show here, O.O.C, is definitely. Sometimes it's about to be too damn hot for me to come on here, but I still try to come on here.
Might get a little hot tonight, Daddy. Might get a little hot tonight. You know what I mean?
If it get too hot, y'all gonna see me do this right here.
What up to the people in the chat? We got Mystic. Sorry, it should just pass up. Mystic, Shadows in the house, Poles in the house, Drop Shops in the house, Mad Mama Bears in the house, Caleb is in the house, Bat and King David is in the house. Thank you guys for popping in. Roberto, you want to tell the people about your channel a little bit, sir?
It's only a little bit that's going to be said. I ain't doing jack, Jill. I'm here Wednesday night, and as Mr. Comic Chat below said, you can find us 3 on Saturday doing our little sports talk. And that's about it, fellas. That's about it. I can't say when I'll be back because I don't know.
What's up, Paul? What's going on? Glad you can make it.
What's up, Paul?
I think we got 2 topics today that are going to be pretty fire. We're going to be talking about Arbery. Arbery.
To tell you the truth, man, I don't see how Arbery's really going to be hot, but we're going to go ahead.
Oh yeah, don't worry. We got some fire on that one. But
they did the right thing.
Oh, they did the right thing. Absolutely, 100%. But we also got the Kyle Rittenhouse stuff that we're gonna be talking about.
Me and you done talk about that.
Yeah, I know. And I was telling Roberto on the backstage, I was like, yeah, me and Dan had one of these. He showed me something, and I was like, oh fuck it. And Roberto was like, nah, it's something we should talk about. So I'm like, okay, well if that's the case, I got a little video here we're gonna show real quick. It's from this amazing Lucas guy who's talking about. I'm not really a big fan of him, but I think it's a little bit on point with some of the things that he's saying on it. And then we can actually get into it. So let's hear what he has to say. And I want to see if you guys agree with it or not, So pop the video up here, full screen it, and let's hear what he has to say.
Case of Kyle Rittenhouse. Oh, my goodness. So when it comes to Kyle Rittenhouse, one thing I'm not going to do is relitigate the case because that would be pointless. Because what has happened, Kyle Rittenhouse has been found to be not guilty of all charges. Whether you like it or you don't like it, doesn't matter. Now, having said that, one thing that I will like to address is how Kyle was treated by many on the right. And this happened to be a luxury that some, if not most, were not granted. And that luxury is that Kyle, in the eyes of the right, was innocent until proven guilty. The problem is that same luxury wasn't granted for countless others that came before him. For example, George Floyd. Hell, we're still getting people calling, fentanyl Floyd and whatnot, and bringing up a 10-year-old record in attempts to impugn him currently today. When it came to Breonna Taylor, what did the right say? Hey, lay down with pigs, you're bound to get dirty. Breonna Taylor was guilty until proven innocent. Elijah McClain, why didn't you just comply? Why didn't you just listen? Guilty until proven innocent. Ahmaud Arbery, a case that's still ongoing, all right? I believe they did the closing arguments. What did they try and say? Guilty until proven innocent. He wasn't jogging. And then he had the theories of the hammer. Why was he in there? Why was he jogging in boots, right? Whole bunch of theories. But none of these theories were for the aid or assistance of Ahmaud Arbery. They were all there to weaponize and vilify Ahmaud Arbery. Guilty until proven innocent. Tamir Rice, why do you have a toy gun anyway? Why is he pointing it around? Okay, why didn't he just comply? Guilty until proven innocent. This is a stark contrast to how the right treated Kyle Rittenhouse. Because Kyle Rittenhouse definitely had a past. There's videos of him talking about how he wished he had his AR-15 to mow down people who he believed to be looters. Video of him assaulting a girl. Many people try to play that as, oh, he was defending his sister. No, the video clearly shows his sister was the aggressor. And matter of fact, Kyle came up behind the girl to the point where other guys had to intervene. None of that was constantly played on the right. None of that was even addressed. That was very much shh, hush, hush. All right. No one even wanted to look at it. As I just mentioned to you, Ahmaud Arbery, right? George Floyd, countless others, they dug to try and get dirt in order to vilify and impugn the character of these individuals, in order to justify the actions and the deaths that happened. However, when you bring about these obvious discrepancies, you're the one that gets targeted, right? You're the one that's considered to be a race baiter. And I find that lunacy because that is absolute gaslighting. Me acknowledging the difference in how someone is portrayed and how they're promoted and how they're defended versus another said individual, okay, that's not race baiting. That's making an observation. As I always say, don't make it racial. I just make an observation. So instead of acknowledging this and then perhaps changing the behavior, no, these individuals, these outlets, these pundits, they vilify you. They make it, oh, you're the one that's causing this problem. I find this to be just absolutely asinine. What I also noticed was a deflection. They deflected to Andrew Coffey. Now, this story of Andrew Coffey, they try to put up like, hey, see, we're all in this together. We're all the same. Andrew Coffey got off in self-defense. Kyle Rittenhouse got off in self-defense. But upon looking into the Coffey case, it's extremely night and day from Kyle Rittenhouse. They raided his house, killed his girlfriend, and then the grand jury, what they did was try to charge him. They tried to charge him for not only the death of his girlfriend, but an attempted murder on an officer, okay? Because Coffey, upon being raided, fired back. They killed his girlfriend. So in actuality, this is very similar to the Breonna Taylor situation. Now, here's the crazy part. The judge, which is why I don't know how he beat the case, but the judge removed his stand your ground immunity. He removed it from him, okay? He didn't get to claim he was standing his ground. That didn't happen. But alas, Coffey is still facing a maximum of up to 30 years in prison due to him having a firearm. He was a felon with a firearm. And even though he used it as self-defense, he's still facing a maximum of 30 years, okay? So no, this has nothing to do with Kyle Rittenhouse. This is not similar in any way, shape, or form, okay? But last but not least is that you have the Kyle Rittenhouse interview. And this interview is delicioso. Because in the interview, Kyle Rittenhouse actually professes that he supports BLM. And that led the right to go freaking bonkers, okay? People felt like they were betrayed. Like, hey,
we spent all this time protecting you and defending you, and you go and talk about burn, loot, and murder? They're a terrorist organization, okay, Kyle?
It was absolutely golden. He not only does he go on to promote as far as BLM, but then he goes on to say, hey, I acknowledge that this brings about serious problem with our judicial system. That, hey, if I've been a person of color, that it probably would have really been bad. Man, bruh, freaking gold. I have to admit, freaking gold, okay? Because by that measure, was Kyle a BLM activist who shot these individuals? Anyways, guys, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think. Whether or not you believe the
So what do you think?
I think that guy's on point.
I think he's on point as well with what he was saying. It makes a lot of sense with what he was saying, man. Because when George Floyd came up, and even today, like a couple months ago, I was on a stream and they had to brought it up. They're like, "Oh well, George Floyd beat up his baby mama. George Floyd did this," and I'm like, "But what does that have to do with why he died?" Like they try to villainize us all the time, man. It's crazy. What do you think, Roberto?
Just had to finish eating my Reese's pretzel. I don't know if Daddy likes this stuff here.
Hell yeah.
This show has me eating bad at night, man. What do I think? Again, I agree with you too. I thought he was very much on point. I didn't even really look at it the way he did. So those are some valid points, you know. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at it as what's to stop everybody from going there with that gun that he had just for peace purposes. Why is he allowed, that one person allowed to do it, and it's justified? What's to stop everybody from doing it? Because I know when I go to these things, I'm going there to support, protect myself, protect the people that more or less have the same views as me, like he did. So are we all supposed to walk with ARs and assume some guy trips near me, he's attacking me, pop, 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 pop? You know? Like, where does this guy live? Sorry, Danny?
I'm not sure what state it was.
But he doesn't live in that area.
No, I think he traveled to another state.
Yeah.
Point number one. Okay. What are you defending? They're not in your backyard. They're not in your front yard. They're not in your city. They're not even in your state. What are you going to defend? Why did you, number two, walk past where the so-called area you were going to defend? If I walk in the hood with a gold link chain and a big ass silver or gold medallion on my neck, am I not looking for trouble?
Facts. We had that same conversation on this show a few weeks ago with the dude who won the lotto. He won 40
boasting on videos.
Right. Had this big chain, walking up in the hood, and then got robbed. And I'm like, well, what the fuck did you think was gonna happen?
You know what I mean? So when this man went there with this thing on his neck, right? Not only should the brothers have freaked out, but evidently other people freaked out and questioned why he was there. Isn't that why? They thought he was part of
Thank you, Flash.
The negativeness. That's why the guy charged him. He didn't charge him because he wanted that gun. Why did he charge that guy?
See, over here, we got this, they call it the Second Amendment. What's it called? Second Amendment. It's basically people that, our laws are so liberal with guns that if you approach them in the wrong way and you question them and you don't have probable cause because of the way the Constitution is right, it opens up that department for a lawsuit. And now you got officers like, we get classes on this, man. Hey, you see a Second Amendment person come up here, you got to be very specific. Like in our gated area, we have to have no authorized personnel beyond this point. If you don't, they can walk in there and they can have a gun on. As long as it's not fully automatic, and they can take pictures, stuff that would a normal person or a reasonable person would deem suspicious, they can do it. And they do it for the simple fact that they know that the laws are on their side. And unless you know specifically what you talk about as law enforcement, it usually ends up in a lawsuit or an unjustifiable arrest. So these people knowing this and our Constitution, that's why I forgot what stream I did, and I was like, we need to revamp the Constitution. No, you can't do that. That's the okay. I'm telling you, that was written 400 plus years ago. Our forefathers wasn't that doggone foresightful. I mean, it's a great piece of work, but it needs updates, I think. And I'm not saying updated every year. I'm saying look once every 5 years or whatever period for 30 days, 60 days, whatever. If you want to revamp it, do something, make an update, something, you can make that change. There's some of these laws that's on the books over here is crazy. But I think what everybody is not saying, the elephant in the room, is that this all goes back to white privilege. That's what it is.
What's Mr.
that-
Chen talking about? Are we
He
talking
said-
about the same thing?
You're flat, dude. You're flat wrong, dude. The first guy walked up, called him the N-word, and grabbed his gun.
He's white.
To yank him out his hands. He shot him. The other two chased him. Hey, that's the thing. I was arguing about this case, right? And I was
Isn't
like,
he white?
Yeah,
I was
all
like,
three
yo,
guys is white.
all three of the guys were white.
Who called who the N-word?
Yeah,
This is what I want to know, because, like, this is why I wanted to have this conversation.
Yeah.
Because
when
talking.
I'm
sorry, Danny. Go ahead, Danny.
I said when you first hear it, man kind of automatically jumps to
Yes.
white versus black. But
Yes.
when you sit down and read the article that I read and that I showed, I said, hey, this guy shot 3 white people. So
And I
we have a dog in this fight.
That's what I posted on Twitter. I'm like, I don't got a dog in this fight. Carry on, white people.
But you see, Danny, I didn't even read it. I just went off of the non-momentum that followed.
Yeah.
There was no like, what, all over Facebook, number one.
Mm-hmm.
All I saw was he got off and they show him with his 2 lawyers. And that's the only picture I saw just keep being posted, right? But my point being is I was arguing with a Jewish friend of mine that I play hockey with, and he was defending Rittenhouse. I said, listen, I didn't even have the facts. I just said straight up, listen, none of the people he shot was black. I thought maybe the one who was wounded was black. I go, none of the people he shot was black. And here I am arguing with you against you. So it basically says, I don't cry out because everything is black. I do cry out when it is black, but injustice is injustice.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that statement, but it hits home more, or it's more relatable when.
Yes, Danny, I will not argue with you on that point, but I just wanted to set him straight that we don't always cry only when it's black crime. It's not everything is because he's black, it's racist. Not always. I don't know what this guy's intention was, but I gave him an example. Did you see that movie? I forget the name, what it was called, but basically it was some guys trying to take over a train, and there was some military guys on this train, and one of the guys,
Steven Seagal movie.
No. This was like based on a true story. It was more recent than Steven Seagal, and he decided to take the guys down on the train. But he waited for an opportunity, and then he just ran at him. And I didn't even see the movie, but that's just the prelude to it, right?
Yeah.
If you're in a situation where it's imminent death, like you see this guy is just shooting people, are you gonna sit there and be a sheep, or are you gonna be sitting there saying, I gotta figure out a way how to tackle this guy, man? At least save my family. At least I can't just sit here and let him just shoot us, right? So you're going to rush him to try and save everybody. I might be a victim, but I might save other people's lives at the same time. That could have been the first guy. That could have been.
Well,
I don't know what his intentions were, to take the gun away and kill him. But you're stupid for charging a guy with a gun. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You have to have at least a plan. You can't be chasing a man outright and he's running with the gun.
Well, didn't they attack him first, right?
That same guy he killed first tried to
attack him.
He got away and ran, and he chased him.
But I think one of the guys had a skateboard. He said the guy came at him in an aggressive manner with a skateboard. I don't know whether that's a scapegoat or not, but
another guy had a gun.
Yeah. So
I think the one he killed had the gun. But
I believe they had records too, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. That's what Mr. Chen or King David said. One of them said that the dude that they killed, Rothenberg or Rother, whatever the hell his last name is, he was a felon, right? Okay. Yeah, I get it. He was a felon, right? Shouldn't have had a gun.
Just because you're a felon, that don't mean you automatically committing a crime every time you come out into the public.
Right, exactly.
You made a mistake in the past. I know there's one guy, man, he made a mistake. He went to jail for 30 years, and this guy, he walks the straight and narrow. He's out busting, but he's gonna be looked at and perceived a certain way because he committed a felony crime. That's
Mhm.
not fair in all cases.
No, but it is life.
Yeah, I
You
agree.
know, it's
Right,
sad.
because Flash says here pedophiles are scum, but it doesn't justify killing someone if he was. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like unless he's like doing it right then and there, you know what I mean? And the only way to stop him is to dust him, then okay, yeah, 100%. I'll agree with that. But I mean, that's why the problem is with the George Floyd, and this is what he's bringing up, and the amazing Lucas was bringing up, is that when it comes to us, we're villainized before we even get the facts out. You know what I mean? It's like,
He
oh,
had an even better case to bring to attention, that one with the girl who killed her kidnapper abuser, and
Oh, right. Yeah,
she's now defending
yeah,
herself.
yeah.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
That's
Can't
fucked
remember her
up.
name, but
I don't know her name either.
she actually went to jail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She actually went to jail. And
And
this
those
is what
guys
I'm
that
saying.
shot Arbery, how long were they walking the streets after they shot that guy?
I don't know.
They
I
were on the
don't know.
streets for a minute, man.
But we're definitely going to get into that stuff too because justice has been served. Thank God. You know what I mean? Because I think at this point after George Floyd, I think they're really going to have to like really make sure that justice gets served because it's like a thin line where anything that happens wrong can just blow up in their faces. You're going to get riots and stuff like this. And I'm so sick and tired of when people talk about, well, they're rioting, they're burning down their community and this and that. Yeah, but they're letting out the frustration. They're letting people know that the stuff that has been happening to us for over the years, it's not cool. You know what I mean? Like we can't fucking take it anymore. So, but hey man, I'm sitting here and I'm like, listen, what did Malcolm X say? Roosters coming home, chickens coming home to roost or something like that. The comment is that's exactly what it is, man. And we've been through it all the time, and he got off. More power to him. You know, was it self-defense? Maybe it was. But my point is, regardless of anything, why was he coming there with an AK? Like, why you walking down the street with an AK? You know what I mean? Like
It wasn't an AR-15.
AR-15, yeah, yeah. So
I'm more
what?
worried about copycat shit than anything else
I
of
mean,
this outcome.
I'm telling you, the way the laws are written, you can do things like that. Just because you have an AR-15 and you walk on the street, that doesn't give the officers a justifiable reason to stop and ask you any kind of question because technically you're
If
not
you're a
breaking the law.
brother.
I ain't saying I agree with all the laws. I'm just saying I'm here to enforce and interpret.
You never saw that video, Danny?
I was
I don't
trying
know
to
if it
find
was
it.
in Texas.
I was trying to find it. I know what you're talking about. The video where the white guy
two
walks down
friends.
the street.
They're friends, right?
Yeah. The
and they're
white
trying
guy
to
walks
prove a
down.
point.
Yeah, he walks down the street with an AK-47. Cops stop up to him. Hey, what's up? What's going on? Asking questions. The black guy does it, and they stop, pull out their guns. Freeze! What are you doing?
Get to the
And
ground,
put your hands
face
up.
down.
Right.
I was like, this got to be staged, man. This can't be for real.
That's kind of like the question y'all just posed. You hit the lottery, you go in the hood with a gold medallion necklace on and expect everything to be cool. Yeah, the laws should apply to us, but we know they don't.
They don't, right?
Ain't no way I'm doing that. I know for a fact that it's where I live at. If they come down there and they got an AR-15 or any kind of rifle and they're not doing anything, if we go up to them and ask them, and we ask for their name, they ain't even gonna tell us their name. Officer, I'm not doing anything. Are you aware of my Second Amendment rights? We have to say yes, sir, we are. Unless we have some kind of probable cause, a legitimate reason why they're being stopped. There was just a crime committed at a convenience store. Person got a rifle, blue jeans, black hair, blue shirt, and you have that on, then we can stop you and do what we need to do. But if anything short of that, we can't stop them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a stupid ass law, but it is. Now they got people that know that, and they test us every chance they can, every chance they get. And then when you do something wrong, like making a false arrest, or they try to bait and egg you on and push your buttons and get you angry. Then when you say something or do something crazy, the department gets sued. So it's a very slippery slope.
Facts. And that's the thing. Like I'm thinking about it. I'm like, Roberto, just think of you walking down the street and seeing some dude walking walking down the street with an
Yeah,
AK-47 or something. Just
Probably
tell me
doing
what
a
we
lot of triple taking, man.
and the minute that happens, bro, 50 would be there right away. They would
bro.
stop him. Wouldn't matter if he was
Instantly.
black or white. Like, what the hell are you doing with this
Instantly.
automatic weapon? But for some reason in America, it's like, hey man, we got the rights to bear arms and we can walk around and do whatever we want to.
That is
And
true. That is
I
true.
I think that's
Hey,
one of the reasons. Yeah, go ahead.
we don't agree with it, but there's a lot of laws. I'm like, what the hell? Okay, let me give you a scenario. Two teenagers, let's say they early teenagers, 13, 14. And you know, kids do stupid stuff sometimes. So one guy is sitting in the bathroom on the commode. You can't see any of his parts, but he's just sitting there. You can see his pants pulled down by his knees, whatever. Another smart ass comes in there, just reaches the camera over, records about 2 or 3 seconds. I guess emails it to a bunch of kids in the school, whatever the case may be. And then when the kid walks in the lunchroom, whatever, everybody busts out laughing. Fast forward, um, parents want to press charges against this person for whatever the case may be. I think one was like,
Pornography.
that's not really pornography though. It's no sexual act.
Okay.
You can't see any. One of them's like disseminating minor material. It's none of that. It's basically at the root of it. It's a 13 immature-year-old boy doing something silly and stupid. But because their child was embarrassed, they want us to hammer him. And then if we hammer him, this child will be put on the Sex Offenders Act registry. In South Carolina, it's lifetime. Now,
Mm.
do you use common sense? Hey, look, man, I know it was embarrassing. I know that your son is the blunt of jokes, but we didn't see any kind of sexual organ. All we saw him sitting on the toilet. You see like his thighs and stuff, but you can't see anything else. I don't think it's fair to destroy the other guy, the knucklehead, for taking the picture. He should have consequences. I don't know, suspended, expelled, whatever the case may be, whatever. But to be put on the sex offenders registry for something like that, that's that's the
Yeah,
severity of
yeah.
laws I don't agree with.
Yeah. No, and I completely understand that too, right? Like that would be dumb, and because you're on that sex offender list for like maybe the rest of your life, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
if you
Yeah,
certain states is different, but South Carolina, where I live at, is lifetime.
that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Rittenhouse was villainized by the leftist Hollywood before the facts came out. Um, yeah, I hear what you're saying. There was a lot of talk about it, and the way it was, that's why I thought it was like a black and white thing at first. You know what I
Uh
mean?
huh.
The way it was going on, I thought it was definitely a black and white thing. But when I found out it
Yep.
wasn't, I'm like, okay, well, I don't got dog in. I'm like, I don't got dog in this
Change the
fight.
channel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
I was like,
exactly.
okay, new
You know what I
topic.
mean? Yeah, I got a dog in the fight, but I'll say this: like, why was he walking around with the AK like that? Especially when you know that they are doing this
To me, it
protest.
sounded like this place was getting ready or getting primed to have a riot. And I guess somebody was like, come on, we need your help. So he's like, oh, yeah, here's my opportunity to go ahead and shoot some, you know what. So whatever, the case, or whoever. And he got in his car, took his thing, and he drove to where that place was at.
Yes,
And I don't think it's in his neighborhood. I said, I want to say something like Alabama or something. Let me see if I can find what this.
yes, and from what I heard, because like I said, I didn't really follow the case too much, but I read a little bit stuff on it. I heard that he actually did not carry the gun over state lines. I think he got it from the state he was in or something like that because he had family over there, and he was actually trying to protect them or whatever, something like that. There's also part in the video where I think he's yelling out he's a friendly and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, man, this is the kind of stuff that we go through all the time. And like Roberto said, it's not about black or white, it's about right and wrong. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, did he defend himself? Yeah, probably did. But I think he was instigating it by walking around with his AK on his back. Like, if you're gonna go strap, right? You can go strap. You can have a handgun. Put that shit in your waist where no one can see it. You know what I mean? But when you're blatantly walking out during a protest with a fucking AR or whatever he had, and I think you're baiting.
Hold
You're
on.
there to bait out a situation.
Was he running around? I'm confused about this whole N word. Was this Rittenhouse guy running around saying the N word?
I think the guys that I don't know. I don't know about the N word because
Well,
that's
this
what
is what
Mr.
Walkart
Chen
ran
said.
around
Oh,
saying the N word, and the rioters didn't even fuck with him.
This
So what I
article here
take from
said
that is that he's saying the N word towards the crowd, and they didn't do shit.
mm,
I don't know.
mm,
this article here said Rittenhouse, who was 17 at the time, traveled a few miles from his home across the state border to Kenosha on August 25th, as the city was in the throes of damaging protests that followed a white police officer shooting of Jacob Black, a black
take
man,
it back. Yeah.
after a call to a domestic disturbance. Bystander video captured the critical minutes when Rittenhouse, with a Smith and Wesson AR-style semi-automatic rifle, shot and
Pedophile.
killed Rosenbaum and Huber and wounded Gorkeski or whatever his name.
Who's the
Paul said
pedophile?
if he was the one he shot, the one
Oh,
that
really?
no
They
shot.
said
Yeah.
one guy came at him with a gun and another guy came at him with a skateboard. And they said there's
Mm.
video footage showing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you look at the trial, I think they show all the video footage. They break it down. Paul said if he was holding a handgun, he would have been convicted. That's not what I'm saying. He didn't have to hold the handgun. You could have concealed that in your waist. You know what I mean? And you know your strap. You don't need to be parading around with a big ass fucking automatic gun like that.
And
You
then you
don't
don't
need to.
take matters to your own hand. Essentially, like he said, the police ain't doing a good enough job, so I'm gonna go down there and do it myself.
Right,
Can't do
If
that.
he would have stayed at home, he'd have never been on trial. He
right.
he he put himself in jeopardy of being arrested by
Hmm.
taking matters into his own hand and doing that, which he did get arrested, but he could have been in prison had the jury decided to go the other way. So I just don't think it was smart on his part.
I agree with you 100%, and that's what I'm saying. Like, listen, I know he may have even wanted to protect people and fight for a cause. But the minute you're going into a situation where there's a protest and the protest is about a black man getting killed by a cop, getting shot in the back 7 times, and then you as a white man are walking around in this protest with an AK-47, it is going to look like you're there to antagonize, right?
And not to
Uh,
mention, you could be misconstrued as a cop, and cops have been killed. White cops have been killed because people are mad and frustrated and just say, "Okay, the cops are dirty. I'm gonna kill you." So he could have been misconstrued as a cop and got shot by some knucklehead that got a vendetta against a cop. So he did not think that through well, in my opinion. He had good intentions, but
right.
sometimes the best laid plans are laid with good intentions, but it still
Hmm.
turned out. He was lucky. I think if he was black, I don't know if he got.
You don't know he would if he would have got off.
I don't know if
I
he
can
got.
guarantee he probably would
Yeah.
not have gotten off, bro. You
Well,
know what I mean? Even with video evidence, right? Because we've seen video evidence, Rodney King, and they still got off. You know what I mean?
that
We
was a different time
no, I
because
know 100%.
yeah, I agree with you saying, but like when we jump to this next thing, man, there was only one black person on the jury
Oh, really?
for Arbery. One
Oh,
black person, 9
okay.
white women, 2 black men, and 1 brother.
Well, I think things are starting to change, like hands down, right? Especially when I went to the George Floyd and protests, and when I seen the ones that were going on, there was a lot of white people there supporting and going off. So I think it's getting to the breaking point where everybody now is like, yo, this is wrong. You know what I mean? At one point, it was just us fighting for it, but now I think a
Mhm.
lot of people are joining our fight, and that's a great, great, great thing. 100%. I'll never deny that. right?
Like one guy that was a mentor to me, he told me, he said, and he was a black guy, older black gentleman. He said, Danny, every black person is not your friend, and every white person is not your enemy.
That is correct.
And I believe that. And I'm not sitting here saying that every white person secretly has a hood in their closet. I don't believe that. But I'm just saying that if you want us, and I'm saying us as black people, to be less angry, less frustrated, less, and these are words that I'm using that they describe us, less confrontational, then just treat us fairly. If you get treated fairly, and I can see it, then I can take the disappointment, or I can take the no better. But then if I'm gonna take it and I'm doing the exact same thing that my white counterpart is doing, and he's not getting chastised for it, and I am, then I ain't gonna take that not too well.
Exactly. And it's funny too, because it'll bring up another part. If I'm not mistaken, I remember, but I do remember at one point in the Colin Kaepernick show, they were talking about how they used to villainize us, you know what I mean, as black people. Like, no matter what we did, it was always like, you got to be scared of these people and this and that, and it was just that's the way it is. Like, no matter what, like, they tried to villainize Sandra Bland, who fucking got, well,
you see how the mother acted when she went to that urban store to get his hair braided,
right?
And then when she took him to the house, because she was way uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Right. And even Sandra Bland, like I said, you know, she was murdered or killed or whatever in a police station, and then they tried to blame it on weed. I was like, I smoke weed.
Weed always gets the bad rap, you know.
Fuck does it ever? I'm like, I smoke weed. You know what I mean? That's not killing you. you can smoke a fucking weed before you even feel like you're gonna fucking faint and pass out.
You can't. The worst,
saying.
you could smoke yourself to sleep. That's all you could do.
Right.
Smoke yourself to sleep. And probably wake up high still.
Right, and fucking hungry, you know. But they say the effects of weed: munchies, laughing, and sleep. Those are the effects, man. So, but that's what I'm saying. That it's like they always try to find a way.
So you trying to tell me that drinking and weed smoking is not impairments? Well, I know the drinking is, but someone that's high on weed is not impaired as a drunk driver.
Well, in the eyes of the law, yes.
But yes, that's what I was just gonna say.
In the
but
eyes
everybody's
of the law,
everybody's different, Danny. Like, I know some people, they can't even walk high. I wouldn't get in a car with them.
Right.
And there's some people that you'd never know they're high because they give you no insight that there's anything wrong. They drive just like anybody else, or even better, more cautious, more alert. Everybody functions different on it, you know. I guess it comes down to averages.
Right, and who can how it affects you? Because I know, dude, he would smoke, he get high, and then he'd be sitting there, oh my god, I'm so high. You know what I mean?
What a waste of weed,
bro. I'm fucking high. Oh my god, you know what I mean? That's the dude you don't want to get in the car with. You know, after you smoke a split with him, you don't want to get into that. But also, too, it could be the environment as well.
How about if you like Cat Williams? Because he said, he said like there are different levels of weed. Like he smoked, was it Snoop somebody? He said, man, he was so high, man, he thought he was off Earth. I mean,
somebody dropped some shit in his weed. I don't know what kind of weed these guys are smoking. Maybe it's that
all these different days, man. Be like, what the fuck?
That synthetic fucking weed.
Oh yeah,
I hear all kinds of stories about that synthetic weed.
K2?
Yeah, something along those lines. Yeah, we don't need that shit. We don't need that. Comes from the earth, yo.
If you watch Redman, he got a song about weed, man, and he for like one whole chorus, man. He just naming the different ones. I get this to the this, then that to the that, and that. I mean, I'm like, damn, this shit like damn crayon colors and shit. Fucking that much different flavors of it.
You'd be surprised.
Yep. Can't even keep up.
Every time I check My
I
dude, it's
will.
always a new strain. Hey, oh,
I
I never
will.
had that one.
I will let y'all keep that, bro.
Every day is a new day.
I'll take your word for it.
So what those guys are saying here is that he went there to help the BLM protests, right? Which I get it. Hey, man, more power to him. You're coming out there to help out and stuff like that. I just think you're coming out with that. And Paul's like, not automatic, semi-automatic, but okay, whatever. Still an automatic. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you're still walking out there broadcasting that, hey guys, I am strapped. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, come fuck with me. It's just like putting a bullseye on your back.
I agree. Literally, like I said in early streams, just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should do something. All of us can buy AK-40. Not we can't buy AK. That's fully automatic. But all of us can buy AR-15 and do the same thing. But we know, the three of us know, that more likely than not, if we go out there and do the same thing this Rittenhouse did, it's going to be a total different outcome. So why
Facts.
even do that? Because the defense, so well, Rittenhouse did it. That ain't gonna work. Because
Mm-hmm.
first thing the judge gonna say, well, if you know he did that and he went to that kind of trouble, then why did you do that? And then you gonna have no
Right.
defense for it. Now, if someone
Right.
trying to come on my property or my home, that is a horse of a totally different color. You take whatever you got, you do whatever you got to do. But to me, it like he went out looking for the confrontation.
Yeah,
And so
I
when he
agree.
looked for the confrontation, he just happened to be in a position where it worked in his favor. But everybody might not have those same results. And you definitely
Mm-hmm.
won't be even put in that situation if you use common sense. Common sense will tell me
Exactly.
I'm not going out there because I might be mistaken. I might get shot by somebody else. Because you don't know who your good guy. First thing they tell us in law enforcement, don't go
Keep
somewhere
talking over your
that's
back,
not
guys.
safe because he got no radio. Nobody knows who he is. So they could mistake him as the bad guy. Law enforcement. So law enforcement see him shooting somebody. And he ain't got no identifying marks on him. Nobody recognize him. Guess what? He could have catch a bullet as well. So he did
It's
not
all
think
kinds
that
of
out.
conflicting information, Danny. You
Yeah.
know, all kinds. Only the end result is the guy got off. That's it. You just hope it doesn't happen again. Because I mean, did he try and help? Was he there to provoke? My final answer to this is if he went there with good intentions, he didn't need a gun.
And Paul says here it was pure self-defense. Every
It
time he
was.
fired
They attacked him.
was
He's
when he
right.
was in. Okay, but what I'm saying, if he had not put himself in there, if he had not
Exactly,
gone,
Danny. If he
would
didn't
he?
go,
Yeah,
or if he
because
went without his gun, none of this would have happened.
that's right. Because at the end of the day, he took somebody's life, whether it's self-defense or not.
Yeah.
I've been in that situation where I had to shoot somebody. That's not a good feeling when you find out the person. Well, in my case, the person was okay. It didn't kill him, but taking somebody, whether it's self-defense or whatever it is, you are taking another human being's life.
Facts.
That is not something that should be taken lightly in my
Lightly.
so
I agree with you 100%, Danny. I personally, it's maybe controversial or something, whatever, but I don't even believe in the death penalty. I don't believe that anybody, even a government, has the right to tell someone when they can live or die. Now, put that dude in jail for the rest of his life or whatever. You know what I mean? Make him.
it depends on how severe, because let's just say like these serial killers that kill these 20, 30, 40 people.
Mhm.
I think they need to die. And then
You see,
like
that's
like P.B. Gaskins, Helter Skelter. Read those stories. P.B. Gaskins was a big time serial killer in South Carolina. I mean, just did all kind of.
Oh, I remember Helter Skelter, boy.
Yeah, man,
They
that's
said when he's coming out, he was coming to Montreal. That's why I was studying that boy hard.
I get it. You know what I mean? I get it. Some of these guys
Charles
have done
Charles Manson.
Charles
Charles
Manson.
Manson,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Some of these guys have done some horrible or audacity. Whatever the word I'm looking for right now, but they've done some horrible things.
Atrocities.
Atrocities. Thank you, Danny. There you go. Have done some horrible things. I just don't think that a government or anybody should have the right. That's for the Lord up above. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's for him to decide.
I hear what you're saying, Alzo. I hear what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but I always flip the script. What is that? What is that? Your boy?
I'd want him dead. Facts.
Okay.
I was
Okay.
saying I would
Okay.
want him dead. I just don't
Okay.
believe in. I'd probably want to kill him myself. You know what I mean? I don't want no one else killing him. I want to kill this motherfucker. You know what I mean? You take my kid, I want to fucking kill. I want to be the one to torture your ass, tie your ass up, cut your shit, put salt on your fucking wounds. I watch movies, bro. You know what I mean? I watch movies. Pull out your fucking fingernails and shit with some pliers. I know all the torture techniques.
See that what keeps me grounded to law enforcement, because when these other families or something happen and it's their children or their wife and loved ones, I said, dog, what I do if that was my wife or my daughters on the side of the road and some food or something, or my son. So before I would become the asshole officer, sometimes you gotta become Mr. Officer asshole. There are some instances where you have to become officer asshole. But before I get there, I try to exhaust every possible thing, because I'm like, oh, my son is this guy's age. My son's 26 years old. And I got 2 daughters, and if somebody put my hands on my daughter the wrong kind of way, I mean, am I gonna forget I'm law enforcement? So that's what I always ask, but because I'm like the one that when they be kicking stuff around and well, okay, now you got a daughter, and especially my buddy who's an investigator. Sometimes he's a little heavy handed. I think, okay, now you got 2 daughters just like me. What's that? Then he always saying something. You always so you gotta look at it.
Facts. I agree with you 100%. 100%. I agree with you. I don't know, man. It's a tough thing to debate and to talk about, because I don't think anybody is wrong in this situation. I really don't. I just personally would prefer, you lock this dude up for the rest of his life. You know what I mean? If he's a pedophile, so I'm gonna castrate him or some shit like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, I think there are exceptions to every rule. For the general rule, I'm like you. No, let's just put him somewhere where he'll never get out. He'll never see the light of day or taste freedom again. I agree. But there are some, like these serial killers or you killing these babies, like somebody, if it's something with an infant murder or something like that shit instantly takes me to a different zone. I'm like, you need to fucking kill his ass as well.
I agree with you 100% on that. And that's what I'm saying. I guess there are levels to it. Like you said, there are levels to it. I just, I guess, man. I mean, I think I've said sometimes, this dude should be fucking put to rest. I know I've said that in certain situations, but I'm not really sure if I 100% agree with the death penalty. What do you think, Roberto? You've been quiet on it.
Just listening, death penalties there, I guess, to keep those kind of people Danny mentioned in check, man. Because, like we said, there's some evil and there's some ruthless evil.
But you see,
ruthless, Daddy, you like that? How I threw that word in there?
I see you, Slick. I hear you.
You see, the problem with me is, especially with the death penalty, is that there are a lot of black men on death row that are innocent. You know what I mean? Or don't deserve to be put to rest. And that's one of the issues that I have with it. I guess that will go with the justice system. Maybe they rework that and stuff. But yeah, I think that's one of the problems. And I'm not just gonna say black people. I'm sure there's white people on death row that shouldn't be there. So I don't know.
It's just weird. When you're talking numbers, majority gets majority of the look,
Right. Let's go through some of these. Were you gonna say something, Danny, real quick?
No, I agree with you, because then I would say the same thing about if your son on death row. Then of course you wouldn't want to be for the death penalty. So you can play that card either way to argue your particular side that you take. But I mean, I agree with what you're saying for the most part. But I think there are some extreme cases when they need to ride the lightning.
I can agree with that. I can agree with that. The only other thing I'll say about it is, even though they put this guy to rest, it still doesn't bring back the people that he killed. You know what I mean?
Give you satisfaction, though.
Yeah, I think it does. I think it can give people some satisfaction. I agree with that. We'll go through some of these comments before we get to the next topic. Walker said our president can't string together sentences and is pooping his pants, and the media covers it up. They'll smear someone's name and ruin their life to control the narrative.
Who is Walk Hard?
Um, someone that's popped in here every now and then. I don't know about the president pooping his pants and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, where are you getting that information from? I'm curious.
I hope Walk Hard's a woman.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, you talking about cops are sexy, Danny? Oh,
yeah, it's a
woman.
Because she said her husband's black, I believe.
Oh, okay. So Walk Hard is
okay, Walk Hard. Okay, I'll take that. But if you're a man, I ain't want to hear that shit.
Flash said, so since he was trying to help, it justifies him killing people. If it was a black man, he would have gotten life. Yeah, that's what we've been saying. Like, we know as black people, even though there's laws that say you can do something, some of them don't apply to us. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you can walk on with an AR or whatever. That's a law. You can do it. You right to bear arms. But as a black man, we gotta I don't know if we should really do that.
Paul is saying if the rioters weren't there, none of this would have happened either. Bruh. Okay.
Go ahead, Danny.
Just because you can buy a gun, you can shoot a gun, all that kind of stuff, that does not give you the right to go out there and take matters into your own hand. That is called a vigilante. He was a vigilante. If he wanted to do that, then he should have went to law enforcement or went to whatever jurisdiction, say, hey, look, my name is Joe Blow. Can you deputize me, or I want to become a law enforcement officer? Let me be in the reserve program. Let me do something like that. So he has the proper training and proper justification, because essentially all he did was put his life in jeopardy, because they were not, the rioters wasn't rioting his town. It is said in the article I read, he went to a neighboring town, crossed the border. So there was not an immediate threat to him. He wanted to jump into the fight because that shit damn energized him, or he got off on that. And maybe the people were attacking him, but if he never went there, he would not have been attacked. He would not have been in a situation that could have possibly cost him his life and his freedom. So yeah, at the end of the day, he was attacked, but he brought that on himself. Mm-hmm. Because when you go to a scene, the first thing you're going to ask is, what was the primary aggressor? What was the primary thing that caused this? The primary thing that caused this issue was that he went there uninvited, untrained, not really identifiable, and started shooting people that happened to be attacking him. If he wasn't there and would have sat at home like he's supposed to do, not take matters into his own hand, not put on the Batman suit and all that kind of stuff, and do that stuff because he ain't Bruce Wayne.
Facts.
So yeah, he might have been self-defense and stuff, but he put himself in harm's way. Facts. No matter how you slice that cake, he put himself in harm's way.
Facts. Lockhart said, if he was a white supremacist, why did he only shoot white guys? If he came to cause trouble, why did he help protesters and clean things up? If he was a homicidal maniac, why did he only shoot when attacked? We're not saying all of
that. Who called them all these things? White supremacists who said he's a maniac? That's not what we said. Nobody said that.
No. All we're saying is like what Danny said. You put this on yourself. You went.
Yeah, you had no business being there. Right. That's my argument from the get-go. And everyone wants to twist it to manipulate it to make it look like I'm saying things that I'm not saying. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck you. It's not even worth the argument. If if they were on his lawn attacking him, do you think anyone would be questioning why he shot these people? I don't think so. I don't think so. You have the right to protect yours.
You're right. Exactly.
But 100%. For me to walk out now, like, let's just say I know Côte d'Ivoire right now is going crazy and my people are there. I live out here. I'm going to just take my gun and go out there and protect people. Not everybody from Côte d'Ivoire knows who I am.
For real.
Some people might say, who's this guy walking around with a gun? Hey, is that the guy trying to get what's his name?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Anything could be perceived in the matter because it's an intense situation. He's
Facts.
17 years old.
Yeah.
People are acting like this kid's an adult.
Okay,
You think he...
then, yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He can't calculate the shit in his head fast enough. Yeah. Maybe he was threatened. He felt threatened. Yes, no one is saying otherwise. But like we tell the cops, why can't you shoot him in the legs? Why do you have to shoot to kill? Because he's 17.
And Danny, you were going to say something?
Yeah, Walker is saying the rioter should have stayed home too. Instead of pedophile with a felon with a gun and many other bad actors all came to cause trouble. So call them out too. I'm not saying there two rooms don't make a right, but guess what? They got all kind of issues and stuff overseas. You're gonna get his gun, jump on the plane, and go overseas and do that kind of stuff. If you're gonna fight for his country, then what you do? You get an opportunity to go sign for U.S. Marine, Army, Navy, Air Force, whatever branch you want to, and then you go over there where you are properly trained, have permission to be over there, have proper training and the proper communication and the proper license and permission to do what you got to do. If everybody took that stance and grabbed a gun every time there was trouble and not let police handle it or government or whatever organization that handles that, it would be just like that that movie, what's it called? Where everybody the purge. Do you want that? You want the purge to happen? I'm not saying that the people that he shot should have been there either. I'm not saying that they get a pass. All I'm saying is that in this particular case, Rittenhouse went through a very dramatic situation, the trial, and could potentially have put himself in prison should the jury go the other way instead of this way, because of something that he did not have to do. He did not have to be in that situation. If they came to his home, or they came to his hometown, or they came to his community, that is a horse or a different color. But he didn't. They didn't. And,
Can I answer,
you try
Paul?
to tell me that his 17-year-old is mature enough to make that kind of decision, life and death decision, without having any kind of training. No, you're not. At 17, you are not emotionally equipped to handle and calculate, like Roberto said, what be the long-term effects of this. What's going to let me look the long game. If I go out here and do this, will the cops know that I'm law enforcement? Will somebody else realize that, or somebody else get the drop on me and I can get killed? He didn't see all that. All he saw was I got this gun, it's AR-15, I'm going out here and I'm going to do this, and this. It could have been a bad situation. For him, it wasn't. But, yeah, he got the right to carry and defend himself, but you ain't got to go looking for the fight. You got a right to defend and carry when the fight comes to you, or if you out there minding your business and the fight comes to you. You don't go out looking for the fight. That's not what defending, that's not what concealed weapon permit was meant for. It's to protect yourself should trouble happen, not put yourself in a situation where trouble is most likely to happen. That's what he did.
Facts. What were you going to say, Roberto?
What's Paul had said something. Why did he have to shoot to kill Roberto? Have you watched the video? He was being beaten on the ground at one time. He discharged a gun. He showed a great restraint given the circumstances. Yes,
I think
I said it.
Paul.
No, but I said it. We said it many times. Listen, the guy was attacked and he defended himself. Yes, Paul. But you guys are failing to answer the one question that we all asked. What business did the guy have there? Was he protecting something he owned there? Oh, his dad lived in the area. That justifies him going there with an AR-15? No one could seem to justify the means why he was there. Say, for example, a guy breaks in a house. He's there to steal jewelry. He's not there to kill anybody. He just needs to steal jewelry to bring to the pawn shop to get ripped off to buy some food to feed his family. Little did he know that the house he broke into, the guy was there holding a knife. And the guy tried to kill him. So he defended himself because he didn't initially go there to kill somebody. He went there to rob somebody. So he kills the guy defending himself with a knife. Is this now
Fucking
self-defense?
great analogy.
Is this now self-defense?
Great analogy.
Give me a break, man.
Great analogy.
Nobody is asking the big question why the kid was there. Oh, he was there to save people. Kid, you're 17. There's no such thing as superheroes. Why were you there? Why were you there? I would interrogate him like nobody else. Why were you there? Because had you not been there, none of this would have happened.
That's right. And if he wasn't nowhere close to his daddy's house, now if his daddy lived on the street where all that shit happened, okay, you got a leg to stand on. But if his daddy lived 10 miles away and he in the town, I'm with Roberto. Nope.
Mm-hmm.
And that analogy, I'm gonna steal that analogy, man. That was
right. Thanks, Danny. Thanks, Danny. Because sometimes I have to go on the other side of the track to make it.
You
did that one. Proud gay man here. Thank you for popping in. We don't discriminate on this channel, brother. So, hey, got a thing for Danny. Nice.
No, negative. Negative.
So Paul, hold on. Paul's coming back at me again. Paul loves tennis, boy.
All right, let's go.
So he says he was there helping folks with first aid. I didn't know he was a paramedic. He only pulled out his rifle on his shoulder when they started to chase him. But why were they chasing him? Because he was helping?
Hey,
hold on. I got to word this and then you could go on, so please. Mm-hmm. So they're chasing him because he was helping somebody? Or he was a paramedic with a gun on his back. No one ever saw that, so they ran at him. I don't understand your concept.
There is a picture of him before it starts where he is walking and they show him with the AK. Before the fight even starts, his AK, his AR is out there in the open on his back. So he was carrying that open on his back when he got there. So yes, this is what I'm saying. He didn't just hide it and pull it out. That's why I said if he went there to help and he had like a handgun in his waist where no one could see it, they attacked him, he pulled it out and shot him. Okay, 100%. But when you're going there with the gun like that, I'm sorry. It just seems to me like you're there to cause problems. Maybe he wasn't there, but that to cause problems. But that is the impression that you are giving off. And that's what the problem is. That's the impression that you're giving off. Let's go back up here because I see we got a lot more comments.
Why are we seeing it differently? Is it because we're black?
Boy, I've had that same question over and over again. But I mean, again, we don't have a dog in this fight, so I don't think this one is because we're black.
No.
Just because you can burn something down doesn't mean you should have. But, Paul, you personally have never had to experience the things that, and I never even experienced them. I'm black. But I've never even experienced half of the stuff that they experience in estates. I get it. Oh, they destroyed their community and blah, 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 blah. But when some people have to let off steam, they have to let off steam and they do it by any means necessary. Is it right what they're doing? Maybe not. But at the end of the day, they are trying to show people of the injustice that is happening to us, because if it wasn't for some of these protests with George Floyd and stuff like that, people would turn a blind eye to the shit that happens to us. Those things that happen when they protest, when they go out and riot, those things add to the situation and they show the world how frustrated and annoyed we are with the things that have been happening to us. And like I said, me and Roberto live near Canada. It ain't half as bad as America. Ain't half
How many
as bad.
times do they send perpetrators in there to make the good cause look like it's a bad cause?
Oh, facts. All the time.
You just don't know. You just don't know. That's why I tell my kids, show all your support online, vote yes, do all that. Just don't go to any of these gatherings.
This is why Black Lives Matters has that stigma towards them where they're terrorists and stuff like that. It's not the Black Lives Matters protesting. It's those people that are coming in there to make it look like it's the Black Lives Matter protests that are doing all of this fucking stuff. You know what I mean? And that's a fact. If you watch a lot of those protests, you see a lot of the white people in there doing more shit than the black people. I'm sorry to say it, but that's just what happens. That's just what happens. Danny, the police were told to stand down. So people
Paul
burning
boy.
so people burning down cars and buildings are criminals. Um I know, man, I can pretend to be. You can't take the black off. They can see any more than that. They can't see any more than that, I'm guessing. Yeah, I know. But if you, I don't want to fucking pretend. But fuck you, I don't want to pretend. Okay. His dad lives in the area. That's what I said. That's why I said I heard
Yes,
that
so
he didn't carry the gun across state lines.
what
But yeah,
was he at? Was he protecting his dad's lot, his land? Was he at his dad's house when these guys attacked him? No, he doesn't know where his dad lives.
right, exactly.
I
Which
would have
should
loved
be.
this. I wish I could have given this case some time. There's just too much shit going on in life to me to want to follow all of these events that gather people for social media. But everything is so opinionated. If you look, it just causes division.
Mm,
It seems like they promote this stuff so to be a black versus white thing. So
right.
Yes,
Yeah.
Danny. Because when I could only assume that when Anzo or when I wanted to do this show, it had nothing to do with race. It was
Right.
about the everyday going ons in life. But it just turns out that all of a sudden,
mm-hmm.
everything in life is about
Turns into
race.
race. Yeah.
You hear it every day, whether you want to or not.
Mm-hmm. That is
Don't turn on
correct.
your TV, you'll still hear it.
That is correct. Those business owners didn't even give him permission to protect their property. He went there to shoot some black folks.
Ooh.
I ain't touching that one.
Serious question. Is there
I don't
going
know.
to be a Men of O.O.C calendar asking for a friend? Uh,
We're
I don't
thinking
know,
about
man.
it. I'm gonna get Anzo on the bike and get him in shape. Get
Nah,
some
man,
pictures.
I'm just gonna Photoshop myself on like fucking Michael J. White's body. Just Photoshop my
Or
face on
just
there.
deck yourself out in Jordan wear all day,
You
all
know what I
day.
mean? You know what I mean?
Just buy you a sword and hold it up and see if you'll transform into some muscle bound.
You man, right? I do find it interesting that some of the defenders are turning against him for supporting BLM. It's not a leftist only problem. Yeah, that's what Amazing Lucas said in his video. I haven't really read much about that part, but yeah, man, we got all the support we can need. That's fine. Whoa, I'm way behind. All right, so let's get this, sir. Then I said when the queen. Oh, okay. Both sides have their feed to the narrative. I agree with you on that one. Scary is not good or bad. Danny, my brown mask would. Okay. Yes, they would, Roberta, because the two people in Georgia tried protecting their house when protesters broke their gated community, and people called them Z racist.
Well, maybe
Called
they
them
said
Z racist.
something in the realm of the N word and they said, you racist. I don't know. I wasn't there.
His Black Lives Matter support is a publicity stunt. He's a supremacist. I don't know about all of that. Like, there hasn't been any proof to that yet. So I'm not going to say it unless I see definitive proof. Maybe there is, and you guys know, and I don't, but I haven't seen any proof of that. So, the defenders that were turning on Kyle over Black Lives Matter thing needs to separate the organization from the movement. Yeah, I agree. A white supremacist that only shoots three white guys who attack him. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? Because like I said, at the end of the day, I was thinking like, yo, this guy he's getting off for killing black dude. He killed a black dude, and then when Danny showed me the article, I was like, oh, okay, my bad. You know what I mean? Um,
Mm-hmm.
so Paul here. Why did he have to shoot to kill Roberto? Have you watched the video? Okay, we went through that already. Um, Walker said, "Love you guys and appreciate you. Just really disagree on the subject. The police weren't handling it. The media was lying about the riots. Someone
We
had
have
to
some
do
cop
something."
bashing here. What's going on? It ain't from me, Danny.
We love you too, Walker. Thank you for popping in. And Danny?
Well, let me ask you this. I'm listening to Paul, a lot of his comments. He said this guy was paramedic, right? And was washing off graffiti, was there helping his dad, and was doing all this other stuff right there. So he was the only person doing that. Did the other people that were helping him? Did they have guns? Did they have AR-15? Why was he the only one? Why was he the only one with that particular tool?
Right.
Because the other people didn't feel in this. The other people went to the same danger he went into, but they did it like it was supposed to. No gun. We're gonna go in there with the police escort or whatever. Because that's protocol. Some hot thing like that, you're gonna go in there with police escort. If you putting out fires, if you rendering medical aid, it is part of protocol. Now, whether or not how they chose to defend the rioters or whatever, I don't know, because it could have been more rioters than what they actually had manpower slated for police. Because a lot of times, if you get more manpower than what the existing police agency can involve, that's when the governor enacts the National Guard or the state police, whatever. Maybe they didn't have enough time to do all that. So maybe that's why the police officers were told to stand down, because human life is more important than any kind of material, any business, anything like that. Is human life. Once they get enough people to safely go in there and execute a plan, that probably was why the police were told to stand down. They had enough manpower to do it. It's foolish to run into a burning building if you ain't got the proper equipment. It's foolish to run into a rioting situation if you don't have the manpower, because you're going to get hurt or killed. So that probably was the little caveat or nugget that we seem to be glossing over. But none of the other people that were rendering aid had guns. He's the only one out there. So does it that don't stand out in your head a little bit? People that's defending him?
It should. It should stand out. You are absolutely correct. And let me ask you this, Danny, because we do know the protest that was happening was because of was it Jacob Blake?
Yeah.
Jacob Blake. Jacob Blake
was spilling off from that.
Right, who got shot in the back by the police officers or whatever. What do you think about that situation, Danny?
I don't like to talk on those shooting things for the simple fact is I like to get the facts, since I am one of them, the cops.
Right.
So it's kind of hard to talk about that without knowing. But I can't. I do know that we are trained in these scenarios where you got to make split-second decisions. Some people are better than others, and some people handle stress differently. So without knowing the exact particulars and the facts of the matter, I don't want to speak on it. But I will say, from a cop standpoint and from a black man standpoint, that the narrative of blacks being killed at an alarming rate by non-black police officers is enough to make you scratch your head and look kind of like, damn, well, what the hell is going on? Because I definitely believe if the narrative was different, that black officers was killing white females or white males at an alarming rate, it would be a totally different. There would be laws changing. There would be all kind of stuff. So that's what I'm always been my little hiccup. But I don't know.
No problem. Didn't mean to put you in a corner or anything.
Oh, no. If I knew about it, I would definitely talk to you. I would just tell you what I've always told y'all about.
Right.
Situations. I don't have that issue where I'm at. I don't know anybody that I feel waking up saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna get me." I don't know, because that person will not be in my department around me.
Facts. So. And my thing is just this. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta go and read more about the case, because I know a lot more stuff came up about it. Said he had a weapon or whatever, but they shot him in the back 7 times. That can't be procedure. You know what I mean? Like, that can't be procedure. So we'll see how that case goes. It hasn't really finished yet.
Shoot until you eliminate the threat. That's first thing.
Okay.
My situation, I shot one time. He dropped to the ground. There was no need for me to stand over him and pow, pow, pow.
Right.
One time he was done. I saw the weapon. I kicked it to where he couldn't reach it. Called for help. But I can't speak for other officers. There's some officers, and I'm telling you, we are shot. We are taught and trained to shoot in vital spots, center mass, headshots. That's what we taught.
Mm-hmm. Fatal shots, right? So do they ever? Because this is a narrative that a lot of people say. Oh, why didn't you shoot him in the leg? Do they teach you guys to like shoot people in the leg and stuff like that?
Nope.
Okay, so you see there it is.
And then also, well, most departments have stationary targets.
Mm-hmm.
You very seldom train with departments that have moving targets. I don't know any. They're stationary targets and they're bladed. Like you shoot at different
ranges,
like 3 feet, 5 feet, 7, all the way back to 25 feet. And you got so many seconds to do whatever you got to do. And then in most up-to-date departments, the targets are bladed. So you got 2 seconds to put 3 targets down range. When you hit a buzzer, fire. It'll come face you. And when 3 seconds up, it's back.
Mm-hmm.
So and then there's some that keeps it flat.
Right.
But what I always say, I shoot a pretty decent shot. But when it goes to court, look, we practice stationary targets. That's a whole different animal than somebody that's shooting back at you and moving.
Right.
So
right. I get you. I completely understand that. Right. Especially someone like running at you.
Yeah. It's a whole different.
Yeah.
It's a whole different dynamic, bro. Mm-hmm. And some people can handle that pressure, and you can't really train for that. I mean, you can.
Right.
I guess the fake ammunition, like the little paintballs and stuff, but you can't train with somebody shooting live round at you. Hell no, I wouldn't take that training. No.
Walker said, "Why can't you guys just admit the left has lost all sense of common sense, and we need to call it out? That doesn't make the right the good ones."
I think there's blame on both sides.
Facts. Right? Because and one thing I've always said, and I know even we've talked about with Paul, like we don't necessarily just sit here and follow one left or right and say, yeah, you're completely right with whatever thing you do. No, we're critical thinkers, and some things on the right may sound right, some things on the left may sound right. It's up to you to decide what you think is bullshit and what you believe and what you don't believe. You know what I mean? And do your due diligence, do your research, and then come up with your own conclusions. And that's what we've always said here. What's up, Samuel? How you doing? They ruin people's lives to get a story about racism going. Hey Samuel. What's up, Trendy Mendy? People are turning on the left and waking up to the lies every day.
What is
Russell Brand, Bill Maher, Joe Rogan. Whoa. You think Joe Rogan is a liar? I'm sorry, but I watched Joe Rogan, and
2 of my people are there. I like watching.
I think Joe Rogan is
Bill
on
Maher?
point.
Yeah. Bill Maher cracks me up.
I don't like Russell Brand.
I don't know who Russell Brand is.
That's the British guy.
Oh, okay.
Same person.
With the glasses?
British guy. I think he's like a movie actor or something.
Okay.
Hold on.
So I'm thinking about the same person.
I don't know, man. I listen to Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan, love him.
On point. Yeah, I
love him. I mean, there's some things I don't agree with both of them, but majority of the stuff I like.
Facts, 100%. You know what I mean? And that's why I say critical thinking. There may be some things where you said, like, nah, I don't agree with that. But there's things where it's like, yeah, that makes 100% sense. I agree with you on that.
We're not supposed to blaze, yo.
Yeah, that too.
We got the same wavelength.
Facts. But no matter who it is, whether it's me, whether it's Danny, whether it's Roberto, you don't take our words for gospel. You know what I mean? You may be able to. You may be able to.
Just that.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
this
got him.
guy. Oh,
He's
okay,
funny
okay,
as
That's
fuck.
Russell Brand.
He's
okay.
funny, man.
Not really a fan of him either, to be
I'm
honest
not a
with you.
fan, but he's funny. He plays
Right,
that
but
role funny.
yeah. But what I'm saying is you don't take everything everybody says as gospel. You know what I mean? You can pick and choose certain things from a group or an organization and then tailor it to you. You know, it doesn't have to be if the right says this, then everything that the right says is right, or everything that the left says is right. No, that's not the case because they're not always right.
But
Walk
why the
hard.
comparison with Russell Brand and Joe Rogan? What does Russell Brand have to do with Joe Rogan and Bill Maher?
I guess they have the same narrative. I guess they're
Same
the
views?
left. Yeah, I guess they're the left she's talking about or he's talking about.
Isn't that
Uh,
guy British?
Walk hard.
I think
Oh no,
Rand
the Russell. Yeah,
Russell
the
Brand?
Rand
yeah, he's British.
he's
Yeah.
British.
He don't
Danny,
matter.
they weren't doing anything because if they did, the news would have called them Trump Gestapos and blamed the cops. It was 100% the media and left politicians' fault. You know what? You know
Uh
what?
oh. I
I
see where
gotta
this is going.
I gotta say something. I gotta say something real quick because a lot of people
Chair.
like to blame the media, right? Maybe the media does take a narrative and maybe twisting it on each side, but when any of these things come out, when George Floyd came out, when Eric Gardner came out, when Sandra Bland came out, where was the first place you seen those situations? Was it the news or was it the internet? Was it
And
somebody who recorded that shit and posted it online? That's what it is. Then the media gets a hold of it, right? But when it first comes out, it's always on the internet now. For breaking news, for all that shit, it's someone on the internet that recorded it. So I get it that you can want to blame the media for certain things, but by the time the media gets hold of it, people have already made up their minds of what was the situation. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? People have already made up their minds. Like when I have a video on my channel, you can see it's the first one. A dude was getting beat up in the metro or whatever. I recorded it, right? And I got all kinds of messages about, oh, why don't you start the video where it was supposed to be and blah blah blah. I was like, well, first off, I didn't really know what was going on. I didn't have enough time to start it from the beginning. I was from a distance, but I was there. I seen it. The guy did nothing wrong, you know. But something like that now, because it was here in Canada and it wasn't really big, but something big like that happened in America, it'll come on online. People will think about what happened in the situation. Then they'll watch a news report where the news reporter says some shit about the situation, and they're like, "Yeah, you see, I was right. I was right." That's what it is. But our thoughts and our opinions are already formed the first time we see these videos, and the first time we see them is online. It's online. It's
mhm.
online. George Floyd, seen online. Eric Gardner, seen online. Sandra Bland, seen online. Tamara Weiss, seen online. Those are the first place those things are seen. So people get their opinions from that. And then when the media agrees with their narrative, then they follow the media. But let's not get it twisted because everything starts first online. So that's what I want to say on that one. Um, and the guy with the gun was keeping close to what he saw was scary. When the cops did try to help in other cities, they were called Trump. They were calling Trump a dictator and vilifying the cops.
I told you I see where this is going.
So do we have a
Bring
Trump
him back. Bring
supporter
him
in the
back.
house?
I feel it. I feel it.
It's not cop bashing, it's people in charge not knowing how to handle any of the riot situations that went down last summer, especially Seattle. There were just turned over town hall for a month. Ooh, shit. Okay, let me do this quick. It was insane. It was insane. They turned town hall into a town. They turned town. Okay. Yeah, to me, Madeline said, tired of this left versus right nonsense. There's really no difference. A Twix needs to accept that. You're right. You're right because each side will spin their own narrative regardless. Like I said, as individuals, we got to be the ones to pick and choose what we think is right and what we think is wrong because one side's going to feed you some bullshit and the other side's going to feed you bullshit. Right? At the end of the day, you're getting fed bullshit from both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Bring back peanut butter Twix. I'm not a big fan of the peanut butter Twix, to be honest with you. As one, I agree. I agree. Except Trump was in office, and they made the riots and cops about him. It made their jobs impossible. They also the ones making race an issue nonstop. But race has always been an issue, even before Trump. You know what I mean? It's always been an issue. The
Mhm.
reason why Trump gets the blunt of it is because he never really did anything to put out the fire. He just fanned them. That's the problem. And let's not get it twisted, guys. Trump did fan those fires a lot. A lot, you know. Let's see. Danny, don't bring white women getting attacked by black people into it. Y'all don't want my thoughts on that.
What you mean
Okay.
by that? What you mean by
Not
that?
not sure. Maybe it was something you said earlier. I have no idea. Um, I will be whatever I want, and all you need to do is watch the hands. Don't be scared. It was the back 4 times and the side 3 times on Zo. Semantics, bro. The dude was lying in his fucking car when they shot him. So maybe they shot him in the side a couple of times, but it was his back. Like it was his back. Bullets don't fly like straight. Sometimes they curve off. Sometimes, you gotta adjust for wind and stuff like that. So if you got shot in the side 3 times, this is your side, which is closer to your back. Sorry. Sheltered people are sometimes hard to be around. All right, so these comments are going all crazy, guys. I do appreciate that. But we're going to get into the next topic before we close it down real quick. And this topic, I'm just going to put this up here. Actually, I'm going to send this to you, Roberto. I got to go to get a drink and go to the bathroom. Um, I'll put it on the screen, but can you read it out, though?
Yep.
All right, hold on. Let me send it in the private chat. Click it there. Hey, great conversation to everybody that was in there, man. I do appreciate you guys. Like I said, wouldn't be able to do none of this stuff without you guys, right? And you keep the conversation going. And yeah, I would love to get to the rest of these comments, but I want to get to the next topic before we close it up. This one went longer than I thought it would, but hey, man, it was a fire one.
You want me to read the whole thing?
Uh, Hold on, let me share on the screen here. You could just go read it, make some points, and then I won't be that long, anyways. So I put up on the screen here, and this is 3 white men guilty of murdering black man Ahmaud Arbery, Georgia jury finds. So yeah, you can start
Yeah.
from 3 men were convicted, and I'll be
Thank
right
you,
back.
Thank you, teacher.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Luckily, I have my glasses.
you know.
So, 3 men were convicted of murder Wednesday in the killing of Ahmaud Arbery, the black man who was running through a neighborhood in Georgia City when the white strangers chased him, trapped him on a quiet street, and blasted him with a shotgun. The jury deliberated for about 10 hours before convicting Greg McMichael, son of Travis McMichael, and neighbor William Roddy Bryan. The men all face a mandatory sentence of life in prison. The judge will decide whether their sentences are served with or without the possibility of parole. The February 2020 slaying drew limited attention at first, but when the video of the shooting leaked online, Arbery's death quickly became another example in the U.S. reckoning over racial injustice and the way black people are treated in their everyday lives. As the first of 23 guilty verdicts were read, the judge had Arbery's father removed from the courtroom after he leaped up and shouted. At the reading of the last criminal count, Arbery's mother dropped her head and quietly pumped her fist. He didn't do nothing but run and dream, Marcus Arbery Sr. said of his son. Outside the courthouse, a dozen black supporters hugged and cried.
All right, perfect. Trying to find out where you left off, but yeah.
I
So
stopped right at before it comes to shooting captured on video.
okay, cool. So yeah, so guys, hey man, justice was served, and I know this topic, we're all probably going to say the same thing about it, and I'm happy with the decision. If any of you guys have seen the video, they show him, he's walking, running, jogging down the street. They buck up on him on the street, and then they shoot him in the streets like an animal. You know what I mean? And I think that him, these guys going to justice, it shows that there is maybe starting to be a change in America. You know what I mean? Where people are being brought to justice for doing injustice to us. And I can't say nothing but appreciate. I appreciate it, man. George Floyd got justice, Aubrey got justice, and I hope this trend continues, right? Because we've known through the history or over history of time that, sometimes we don't get a fair shake, man. It kind of sucks. It really does. I don't remember what happened to the cops that choked out the cigarette guy, Eric Garner. I think they got off, so I really I really appreciate that. Paul said, um, was one of those counts a hate crime? Was this racially motivated? Absolutely. I don't know. Maybe you didn't see the video on it, Paul, but yeah, basically, if you go watch the video, man, it's just a dude running, jogging in the area that he wasn't supposedly not supposed to be in, and they bucked up on him and they shot him. I'll see if I can find the video.
Well, this basically we all look the same kind of sentence, because
Right.
there was some break-ins in the neighborhood or attempted break-ins,
Mm,
and it was an African American, and because he just happened to be running, it must be him, right?
right.
No backpack, no nothing to conceal anything that you might have stole, but yet it's him.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's crazy.
And what happened was they caught him, and
They
I'll see if
pinned
I
him
can.
between the two pickup trucks, man.
Yeah. Not only that though, bro, they recorded it. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like they were the ones that recorded the shit. It's
That's what you call
crazy.
bullface because so many people have gotten away with more and less. And they figured they were too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
This
That
is
that what buried their ass. I didn't
Yep.
realize it.
Cocky mofos.
all right. So let me put this one because this video is gonna probably get fucking demonetized anyway. So it is what
Is
it is.
anybody saying anything? Any negatives?
Um, he got murdered for jogging peacefully.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm gonna play the video. I found something here. So I'll play the video for those of you who haven't seen it, and you guys in the chat can decide. Video's no sound. Hold on. Okay. Usually they would play some sort of music while they're showing this. Oh, muted. I gotta go and watch more of the case, because I really want to know what these guys' defense was. Like, what was their defense? What was their defense where they felt they had the right to do this?
It was burglaries in the neighborhood, and he was somebody unfamiliar, and they thought he was burglarizing some of the houses in the neighborhood. And one of the things was, how is he jogging? He got on boots or something. You don't know
Yeah,
what he was training for and stuff. So that's bullshit. That right there is example. Just like with the other, they were out there looking for that. Just like
right,
that guy Rittenhouse was looking
right.
for what he got, and you see what happens. They would have kept their ass in the house and called law enforcement and said, "Hey, we got a suspicious person. He's about 5 foot, whatever, white t-shirt, gray pants. We seen him going down such and such highway. They could have even gotten the car behind him, but shooting and they don't see no gun. And then today, I watched the video. They asked him on the stand, the defense attorney, not the prosecutor, did Mr. Arbery approach you in any kind of aggressive manner? Did he show any kind of malice? His answer was no, 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 no.
Right. So I'm gonna go with this comment here. You guys need to research more about the Aubrey killing. It wasn't an execution like the media wants you to think. They were going to apprehend him, and Aubrey went to grab the shotgun from them. But they're not cops. They have no right to do that.
No.
What
They have
evidence
no
did they
right.
have to apprehend him?
And
You know
you
what I
know
mean?
what? No, they're following that bullshit citizen arrest. Georgia since then has cut that out the law book at all. There is no more citizens arrest in Georgia because of this.
Exactly. You're putting your fucking self in danger, especially when you do that, because you may think you're doing the right thing. Hey, I'm going to put this guy in citizen arrest, and that dude may have a shotgun and shoot you. You know what I mean? Let's just say, by chance, that Aubrey was the guy they were looking for, and he was strapped, and he's running, and he sees these guys, and he turns around and he starts shooting, bam, 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 and kills the three guys. You know what I mean? So
Come on, man. That was way different. You don't know Kyle's motives at all, especially as he witnessed doing all the good stuff. These guys were hunting a man and found someone to kill.
go ahead, Danny, respond.
Paul, all I'm saying is at the end of the day, bro, and you got to say yes.
He
If he
won't.
would have stayed at home,
He won't.
if he would have stayed at home and watched from a distance and make sure his dad was okay, if he felt need to go check on his dad, go to point A, pick up his dad, return back to point B, or however you want to word it, leave point A, go to point B to return back to point A, and not do all that stuff. Nobody said, okay, first thing, this is a riot. Why am I going to go into harm's way in a riot when the police officers that are trained and paid to do that have been told to stand down? That makes zero sense to me as a civilian. And all I'm saying at the end of the day, if he had not injected himself into that situation, would those two men be dead? And would one be injured? Now, if you still don't want to jump on the bandwagon, let's say those two men, one of those two men is your son or your brother. Wouldn't you be asking Rittenhouse, why were you even there? You're not.
Mm-hmm.
You're not law enforcement. Why are you even there, Rittenhouse? You're not paying for the medical field. Yeah, you have medical background or EMS background, but you don't. You're not with EMS. You're there voluntarily, trying to help. I commend you for trying to help, but what's the need for the gun for?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
If that was your son that got shot or killed, or your dad or your brother, would you feel so? Would you have this energy that you got now to defend Rittenhouse? No, you would. You'd be pissed off because you'd be asking him, "My son's dead because you come out here with a gun, acting like the police, acting like whatever." But no, I know what you're gonna say. Well, my son shouldn't have been out there riding. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So here's if three men are coming at you with a shotgun, you don't fight them for the gun. Period. Roberto, I know you mentioned it, so go ahead. Address
If
this,
I
please.
feel these guys are gonna take my life, you
I'm
fucking right.
fighting
I'm
to the
taking that
death.
gun
You're
and
gonna
I'm
fight.
gonna
Facts.
I'm gonna overpower him because I'm afraid, and you get superhuman strength when you're afraid.
Facts.
I will power that guy down, shot him in his head, run for his friends because I'm running to get shot in my back.
Facts.
I'm going
100%.
out fighting, yo, because I want
How?
to live for my kids.
Halogen, you can't prove that they were finding someone to hunt. All you have is a video of an apprehension gone wrong after a scuffle for grabbing a weapon. But why are they apprehending him? Who are they? They are not the fucking law. There was no proof that this guy did what they even thought he did. You know what I mean? Like, come on, Freddie. Come on.
He was fighting for his life.
Facts.
Paul, he was fighting for his life. He thought his life was in danger. You ever heard of the phrase fight or flight? That means that the individual has subconsciously or consciously made a decision: I'm going to fight my way out of this problem, or I'm going to run away from this problem. He chose to fight. He thought he had enough time to get to the guy and try. If it had been one on one, he probably would have lived because he's giving that man a trouble. But when you got somebody else that shoot at you and miss, you see him reload on the truck. What are you supposed to do? You probably trying to get the gun to fight, take the gun from him, and say, "Hey, look, man, stop," or shoot them. He
Mm-hmm.
is fighting for his life. It's easy to sit back here and quarterback this, but I do this every day. I've been doing this every day for 26 years. I'm telling you, bro, it's a whole different ball game when those bullets coming at you, or you get in that situation, and your mind kicks in. Hey, if I don't do what I'm supposed to do or got to do, I ain't going home. So, old boy saw a situation. He thought he could get out of it. Was it the wrong situation? Yeah, but should those people have been out there doing that? No.
Right. And JJ asked, are we still talking about Ahmed? Yeah, we just actually started. And I told Danny this would be fire. I told him he get some of these chats, you know. He was fighting for his life when had an option to run. They were driving in a car. Where's he running to? They were chasing him down, bro.
Did
Where
you
is he
watch,
running to?
Freddie? Did you watch the video? Watch the
That I
video
just showed? Yeah.
where
Oh,
they asked him during the trial. They asked the guy that shot him that actually pulled. Did Ahmaud come at you in a menacing or aggressive manner? He said no. So there is no
exactly.
danger. There is no
Mm-hmm.
danger. If he felt like his life was in danger, then yeah, pull the trigger. But he asked him point blank, did he do anything, indicate anything? They never saw a gun. They never said they saw a gun. Or they saw a black man running through their neighborhood. Their neighborhood was, I guess, burglarized in the past. So they
Mm-hmm.
assumed that he was the burglar. Okay, next time I check, what burglar burglarized somebody in fucking broad daylight?
Facts. Facts.
Really? Broad daylight? He ran down the highway. He ain't ran through nobody's yard. That could be um taken as being suspicious. He's running on the roadway in broad daylight.
Mm-hmm. That is correct. And exactly right? You want to talk about the video, but there's two trucks driving down the street. They looked like they were um in cahoots with each other, obviously. So they weren't just driving around to drive around. They were driving around, like maybe one of them was driving, seen the black dude jogging, called, hey, I think we got him. This black dude, he's driving around. Come, bring your, you know what I mean? Like, they're not cops. They don't have the right to apprehend you. And if I'm running and I'm jogging, and you get that sixth sense in you where you're looking around and like, yo, is this car following me? Right? And then your adrenaline starts to pump up because you realize, yes, they are following me. Then you see another car, and then you see these guys have fucking guns. You are going to fight for your life, bro. You are going to fight for your life. That is exactly what happened. The dude fought for his life. Bro, you were going to fight for your life. That's exactly what happened,
What do you mean that black people need to take some accountability sometime? What the hell is he talking about?
Where's that?
Right there.
Mr. Chen, I'm telling you, you know when I'm quiet, Anzo, I'm just holding back, yo.
I don't know who Mr. Chen
I'm
is.
just reading this. I feel like there's some instigators here tonight,
Well,
yo.
Mr. Chen says he's black, but Roberto,
Just because you're black doesn't
don't
mean you
hold it
can
in, bro.
disagree blacks. What the hell, man?
Don't hold it in, Roberto. Don't hold it in.
Yeah,
Let it out, man.
I already chased one guy away. I don't want to chase more of our fans away, you know.
Hey man, if you're able to chase them away, they're not our fans. We're out there giving our opinions. But I mean, yeah, explain what you mean when you say we got to take accountability for some of the stuff that we do. Because if you're talking about just jogging on the street and getting shot, what accountability is there?
I could kind of feel what he's saying, but it's the wrong time to bring it up.
And I think all of us have said this in the past that sometimes I think the last show, correct me if I'm wrong, I was on Roberto, you were just talking about like a job interview. You can't go there looking some kind of crazy way.
Right.
You got to dress the part. Then once you get your foot in the door and get the job, then if you want to wear, I think we were talking about dreads, different hairstyles, different names and stuff. Okay, the same thing applies. I agree with you. Sometimes we shoot ourselves in the foot. Sometimes our parents, when they name us these exotic and I won't say crazy, but unique names, sometimes it can have a negative effect when it comes to job interviews or getting certain positions or being taken seriously. Because you look at Bobby Jackson, you look at Uniqua, Conseca, or Brown, or whatever. Unique Mr. Brown or Miss Brown, whoever, could be way more qualified on paper, have more experience, have more degrees, have more whatever. But you look at that name sometime, and if you come in there dressing all crazy, just like you going to the club, you should be just like you going to a business meeting, that could mess up your opportunity. Like Nzo said last week, you only got one time to make a good first impression. You can't redo that.
100%.
You walk in there looking all crazy, then you might get a crazy response like don't get no call, and you go to the next interview and wonder what the hell you done wrong.
And Mr. Chen said we be killing each other's in crazy numbers and whining about KKK who barely exists. I'm not saying we don't whine about KKK. We whine about the racism that we experience every day.
Is there any other nationalities keeping numbers like whites killing whites, Asians killing Asians, Italian killing it? Man, stop that shit, man.
Mr. Chen, do you think that the KKK is dead?
Absolutely not.
They are evolving. They know good and well now you can't walk down the street in a damn sheet and hood. Now they wear 3-piece suits.
Facts. And they're in office. You know what I
mean? They wear judges' robes.
Yes.
Or they wear police uniforms.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
They wear army 100%. Uniforms, military uniforms. So, bruh, come on now.
Exactly. Got a few more minutes, JJ. I see you talking about this. If you want to come in and talk about it with us, no problem. Especially getting the opinion of a white man, that definitely helps sometimes, you know. But he says, Mr. Chen says, why aren't we talking about this shit? You know why, Mr. Chen? Because just like Roberto and Danny said, it's one of those things that, blacks killing's black, but whites kill whites, Asians kill Asians.
Oh, but he's saying 5 times the rate blacks kill blacks. I don't know where these stats are.
I would like to know.
Where do you get that? Google?
Probably.
It's a high rate, especially in certain cities and what seems to be the target
and stuff like that, right?
Chicago seems to be the breeding ground for that. I don't know the numbers, but I have listened to Chicago law enforcement on these apps. You can listen to this, and no, I could not be a cop there. Because them boys are going from the start of the shift, the 10 or 15 calls down to getting off 10 to 15. No. That drive me crazy. So
I think that sums up as a yes for JJ, I guess. Pretty Prince said he's not defending them or what they did. I'm speaking solely from Arbery's reaction and that it wasn't an execution or hunting as Paul wants to call it. Yes, it was. I'm sorry, Paul is completely right on that. It was a hunting, it wasn't execution. That's exactly what they did. They weren't defending themselves because he didn't have a weapon, he didn't have a gun. They, regardless of whether you say they went to apprehend him and arrest him, no, they fucking executed this guy. They murdered him. Okay, close. Oh shit, no, Paul. Yeah, hold on. We got a few more minutes. If these guys don't mind, we can go to 12:30, and I can let you guys come in and say your piece.
I'll try and hang, man. I'll try.
No problem. No problem. Okay, so I sent the links to you guys there. Sorry, Paul.
Who coming in?
Paul coming in and JJ coming in.
Oh hell.
Hey man, let's do it.
I need some liquor for this.
For real. Light them if you got them. But we won't stay for hours or anything like that. And sorry guys, I didn't see the messages that you sent me earlier because I don't really look at my Twitter a lot. And I think this was sent. Yeah, that was sent to like 11:30. So my bad, Paul. But I sent you guys the link there if you want to come in. Oh, that is correct. Happy Thanksgiving to the Americans out there. We had
Thanksgiving, Danny.
Happy Thanksgiving, Danny. I want to see some pictures of a turkey feast, brother. I want to see them grits. I want to see
grits.
Grits. I figure all you guys in the South eat grits.
Not for Thanksgiving. That's breakfast.
Okay, you have grits for breakfast.
No, hell no. I don't want no fucking grits tomorrow.
It goes to show how much I know.
Y'all don't eat grits up there?
I don't.
No.
What?
Mm-mm.
Oh my God. I had grits just yesterday for breakfast. Grits with cheese, put some eggs on top.
Can we even buy grits up here, Roberto?
No.
No,
what?
Eh? Yeah, I don't think so.
Y'all got to come down here. I guarantee you, boy, you still weak. I put 10 or 15 pounds on you, buddy.
Yeah, I don't think I can afford to get 15 or 20 pounds on me anymore right now.
I'll put it on you. You got this restaurant called Shoney's. Boy, okay, you don't eat pork. Do you eat pork, Roberto?
Yep.
Man, they have like bacon, the sausage, the mushrooms, grits.
Oh no, mushrooms.
French toast, pancakes, blueberry muffins.
I'll even eat some bacon, to be honest with you.
Oh man,
some bacon with maple syrup on it.
Cheese. You know what I mean? And then you can get that hickory flavored bacon. You put that with some pancakes and some maple syrup. One thing I miss about eating sausages is eating sausages and pancakes with the syrup and stuff. That shit used to be lit. And I used to.
Y'all have the it's like the sweet McMuffin at McDonald's.
We had it. What is it, McGirdles or something like that?
Yeah,
McGriddles.
Yeah.
That's big. That's big over here.
We get it once in a while. It's like a teaser, you know.
You got an IHOP up there?
No.
Oh boy.
No.
Because they don't want to spell it in French. We're gonna put IHOP.
You couldn't IHOP here?
IHOP.
Man, they had a damn omelets, man. God. Stuff with all kind of stuff. Whatever you can think of is stuff with it.
Danny, I went to an IHOP in New York, and when I thought this guy put this big block of whipped cream on my pancake. I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't ask for whipped cream. It was butter. I was like, what? You trying to kill me, man?
Yeah,
they cut half of that brick of butter and dropped it on my pancake.
Hey, we love butter down south, buddy.
I see that.
Max. What is up?
Danny bathing that shit
in the house. How you doing, JJ? How you doing, Paul?
What up, fellas?
Yeah, good, I'm good.
Thanks for popping on. So what you guys have to add to the conversation? Because I know this is gonna get good.
Paul, if you don't mind, I'll go first.
Yeah, man, you go.
All right. I live about 45 minutes from Brunswick where this happened. Okay, I've been listening and hearing all about this story. Ahmaud didn't do no wrong. The boy was just jogging. He particularly liked to jog in this neighborhood because it was peaceful, quiet, you know. not a lot of traffic. Now, he was caught on security cameras going into construction sites where houses were being built because one of the guys called the cops. But it's on the footage. Ahmaud never took a thing. He was just looking around. All right. Now, whenever the incident actually happened, Ahmaud was just jogging. And as y'all seen the video, anybody that's seen it, he was just jogging. And these two guys attacked him. Now, you said you wanted to hear a white man's perspective on all this. Let me tell you something. I don't give a damn who it is. I don't care what your skin color is. There was no point or reason or logical thought behind what had happened. He was not running in a menacing way. He was just jogging along. These two guys messed with him for no reason.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. When Paul said it wasn't hunt and an execution, that's exactly what it was. Like, there's no denying that. Hands down.
And the guy that made the recording, the third guy on trial, okay. In the beginning, he was like, I want to go into hiding because I've been fearing for my life, whatever, blah blah blah. But they incarcerated him also. And put him at fault with these guys. Now, whether he was actually linked up with them or not, I don't know. I missed out on that particular piece of information, but he was the one recording it. Okay, if he knew Ahmaud had not done a damn thing, why did he sit there and let these guys do what they did?
Right. He was involved either way. He guilty by association.
Exactly. Exactly.
I agree with
you
100%.
I've been listening to this story through and through, day in, day out, because it's on our local news.
I didn't know you lived close to where it happened.
Yo, man. I live northeast Florida, man. I'm about 25, 26 miles from the Florida-Georgia border. Brunswick is in our broadcasting area.
Gotcha.
Yeah, man. I'm real close to it. You know, people think 45 minutes, man. That's a hop, skip, and a jump for me. Glenn County, man. I've been through there a lot. You know, back in the day, working for DHL, I've delivered to a lot of places up in there, and those people don't play, man. Seriously, that's no joke. But still, regardless of circumstance, I'm sorry. Ahmaud did not deserve what he got. There was no reason behind it. It ain't no different than me or Paul going out and jogging and somebody just, hey, let's just blast this guy to bits. It was cold-blooded murder.
Facts. 100%. Paul, what did you have to say? Because I know you were talking a lot in the chat. What you got to say? Let's do it. Whichever topic you want to talk about.
I'll talk on this thing. Dude, it literally, when I watched the videos you're talking about, like after Roberto was reading the stuff, because I didn't know about this at all. Dude, this literally looked like it was like the white men rode up on white horses and basically lynched the dude. That's what, like, I got flashes of that. They literally just rolled up on him and executed him. Like, it was it was bad. Like, and that's why I'm like, it's not. That's why I was like, it's not the same as what happened with Rittenhouse. Like, it's not the same. Rittenhouse didn't roll up on like the rioters and start opening fire. Like,
no,
it was a very different circumstance. To draw a parallel between this was literally they rolled up on this guy because they thought he was somebody, and even if they thought he was like a killer, like they shouldn't be rolling up on anybody and just pulling a gun and shooting a dude in the street. Like, it's just
I feel you.
If I remember correctly,
you go ahead,
JJ. If I remember correctly, the older man, one of the McMichaels guys, the father, I believe, is a former Georgia or Brunswick police officer. So he thought he would take it upon himself to serve justice. And it went out of control.
And to Paul, I think when me and Donnie and Roberto, when we're talking about, we're not comparing the details of the situation, but we're comparing about both sides are in places where they shouldn't have been. Like those white dudes didn't need to be driving down the streets looking for someone who was breaking into apartments. Just like Rittenhouse did not need to be at those riots with an AR gun, bro. He just didn't need to be there. That I think that's where we're getting.
Look, I think a debate could be made on whether he should have been there or not. I think that's up for a debate. I won't. I'm not saying like that he shouldn't have been there. Roberto's saying something, I think.
Yeah, you're muted, Roberto.
I said I would love to have that debate.
Oh yeah, the problem with the Rittenhouse trial, and this is where the media did play a big role in this. They perpetrated lies on the public. Like, he didn't cross state lines with the rifle. The rifle was at his father's house. Like, his father and his grandmother and his and I think his aunt live in Kenosha. Like, he had a reason to be there. Like, there was all these different things that the media said that just were factually untrue. And then even on the day of his like exoneration, or whatever you want to call it, right, his non-conviction, they posted a print, like, and I have it on my, like, I retweeted it because it was ridiculous. Cleared of charges of shooting 3 black men. And then an hour or so later, they had to change it because he didn't kill any black men. Like, this whole thing, they just burned the racial thing, and it came from, and I said this, and it fired Enzo up, but the Jacob Blake thing, it came from that. It came from the media again stoking the racial fires from what happened with Jacob Blake. You know what? The riot wouldn't have happened if the media hadn't done that, because the media perpetrated this whole thing. The dude was like, it's pretty clear. And I want Danny to, because he's a cop, he knows what I'm saying. They rolled up on this place because it was a 911 call because he had assaulted his girlfriend or whatever. Just earlier in the day, he had already assaulted her. They were rolling up for a 3rd-degree sexual assault warrant. He said he had a knife in his car, right? He had 3 children in his car. Even the woman is heard saying, help, he's got our boy, as he put him into the SUV, right? Then he admits that he has a knife. They tased him twice. They had multiple officers to arrest him to the ground. He got away from them. He goes to the car door to get in the car where he had the knife, which they found there, right? At close range, the cop then shot him, right? As he reached into the car after he opened the door. Like, this is not he gunned him down in the streets because he's a black man, like we just saw in that video. This has a lot of nuance and a lot of different facts to the matter. It's not like it wasn't another Trayvon. This guy was reaching for a blade at close range to 2 police officers. So they shot him, right? Now, again, the nuance will be, did they need to shoot him 7 times? I don't think so. I will agree that was excessive to shoot him 7 times. But when you look, I just rewatched the video when you were talking about it too, to make sure that I was on point. They are in close proximity to him, within a knife's distance. He could have turned around and stabbed them. Like, that's how close they were to him, because they were chasing him. He had fled. He was resisting arrest. He was fleeing. He had a blade. He had 3 kids in the car. He had already assaulted a person that day, and he was wanted for a 3rd-degree sexual assault, which is diddling a minor. So let's put it all in perspective of what the police rolled up to on that day. Multiples. They tased him twice. Like, I mean, they did everything in my opinion, they did everything by the book, except for shooting him 7 times. I think if they shot him once and he went down, that would have been enough. Like, because I always thought, Jenny can correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought it was as much force as necessary to subdue the assailant that you need, and then once they're subdued, they're done. So 1 shot could have been done. I think the guy got overzealous and popped him way too many times. But all the events leading up to that, and his struggle, his resisting arrest, all that has to be put into play. Like, you can't just say another police shooting, and then they have a riot because the media goes, it's race-based. And it's like, no. And I'll tell you the truth, from the depths of my heart, if this was a white dude, I would have been like saying exactly the same thing. But the media goes, it's another black man gunned down by police. Then they have the Kenosha riots, which is when Rittenhouse came in. If they had not done this stuff, there would have been no riots. But unfortunately, there's a stoking of racial hatred that happens from the media because they have a vested interest in clickbaiting. And they did it. They did it even after he was like found not guilty. They tried to do it again by saying he gunned down 3 black men. The CNN report where they had to roll back the false information they preached.
I'm not even gonna lie. I actually thought it was I thought it was a black guy too until that, because when we were arguing in Twitter, right? I thought it was a black dude. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was a black dude, and then when I found out it wasn't, I was like, okay, well, it's not my fight anymore.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, because the media has stoked that flame and said he was that because it was a BLM riot. They essentially said that everyone there was black and anybody he was shooting was black. It's just like, no, he's not.
If I show the Jacob Blake thing, Danny, are you able to talk about it, or you can't talk about it?
I prefer not to.
Prefer not to? Okay, no problem. I'm still gonna play it. You don't have to say anything. Roberto, you've seen it already, though, right?
Probably got shot in the back 6-7 times.
Yeah,
I saw it.
Okay. So then I don't need to really show it because someone in the chat asked me to show it, but
go ahead.
I mean, you can show it.
All right, hold on.
All I want to say is, like I said earlier, we are taught to use as much force to eliminate the threat. Anything over that can be classified as excessive force.
Okay, gotcha.
Attorney announced he will not charge any of the police officers involved in the shooting of Jacob Blake this summer. Alex Perez.
I think they showed a video on this.
The latest for us. Good morning, Alex.
Hey, good morning, Robin. Things are peaceful here overnight, but the city of Kenosha remains under an emergency declaration. Some 500 National Guardsmen have been activated. Jacob Blake's family calls the prosecutors.
Officer who did not. The incidents back offense. This disturbing video of the incidents back on August 23rd sparked days of protest. Police were responding to a domestic dispute call from Blake's girlfriend. Cell phone video shows 29-year-old Blake struggling with Officer Rustin Shesky and another officer. Both deployed their tasers, but they were unsuccessful as Blake appears to lean into the driver's side of the car. Shesky opens fire. Blake's 3 young boys in the back seat, but not injured. On Tuesday, the prosecutor saying Blake was armed and that officers thought he was trying to kidnap the children.
They say Blake admitted he had a knife, but told investigators he never intended to stab the officer.
Blake, who was paralyzed in the shooting this morning, is still recovering. His family frustrated with the prosecutor's decision to not press charges.
We, the Blake family, are asking this city, this county, this state, and this nation.
I don't think we need to see anything else. Yeah, I don't need to see anything else. So what do you think, Roberto? Because I still see, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, okay. They try to say he had a knife in his hand, and they show a picture of something in his hand, but it's never confirmed that it's a knife. Second off, you don't know if he was, and I get it, they're cop, they don't know what he's going for in his car, but I just think
they should have never let him get to his car.
Well, that's why he got loose. But like the other thing is that they found the knife in his driver's side door, like down the.
If I'm looking at the video correctly, they had him like on the ground. At the rear of the car.
That's the first time they tased him. Yeah.
Okay, right then they should have been on him, put him in cuffs, putting him up. Him getting up and walking off. That's
suspect
bad.
To you.
I ain't saying suspect. I'm just saying it's poor police work.
That's suspect to me because I'm curious why they didn't cuff him.
I can't say that they did that for opportunity to give themselves an opportunity to shoot him. I can't say that. I would never say that.
It's very easy to say.
That. All I'm saying is that if he's tased, he's down on the ground. It's 2 of those cops. I think 3 at one time. That should have been a sufficient enough manpower to
keep him there,
to neutralize him and get the cuffs on the ground, and not even allow him to get in the car.
Gotcha.
But then there were other factors too. Kids in the car. Sometimes
he had a warrant. Yeah, he had a warrant for diddling minors. He had 3 kids in the car. Like that's what the cop said at the trial, at the the hearing or whatever. He was
don't think that means he should die.
Oh no, he definitely should have died.
He didn't die though. He got paralyzed.
Yeah, but hold on. Go ahead, Danny.
he shouldn't have got shot. I don't think that, based on what I've seen, I know we wouldn't have done that. We wouldn't have not shoot that guy. We wouldn't let him get in that car. We'd have put hands on him and refrain him and keep him out of that car, and then put cuffs on him. That's what we'd have. That's what we would have done.
Right.
So there's a certain percentage of people that tasers don't work.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying, oh, Danny, you have to say they were wrong, but can you see it have been done a different way?
Yes, I can definitely see that.
Okay. Right.
Based on what I've seen,
I'm not an officer.
He should have not have been shot.
I'm not an officer. Even I can see it could have been done.
Does that justify a riot burning down multicultural buildings causing $50 million in damage?
It justifies it if you are a people and you feel like you're constantly getting abused, the short end of the stick.
Oppressed.
And I'm not saying this for a short period of time, but this has been going on. Since I'm 51 years old. This has been going on since before I was born. So there comes a time if you keep doing stuff, sometimes
every time there's a BLM riot, the polls show that people become less in favor of BLM. Like this is
no kidding, because BLM is something that could gain momentum, and like anything that's black derived that gains momentum, you shoot it down.
Right.
You shoot it down. Yeah, it is. It is, Paul. You know, you can't make this argument, Paul. You can't make this argument.
I can make it from an objective point of view. If you burn people's business down, they're not going to like you.
You know, listen, I'm not justifying the burning down of the buildings. I'm not justifying it. But when, like I said, when you're held underwater for a little bit, you come up and you gasp for air lightly. When you're held down for a long, long time where you're near death, you gasp for air. And that's what people are doing now. We are fucking tired, and we don't need to justify it all the time. Right. That's what's happening. And if people can't get it now, that's your problem. Because it's been happening for so long, there's no need to justify it.
There's going to be more Kyles at riots now. There's going to be more of them because that's
and there's going to be more Rittenhouses. I can say the same thing. I can say the same thing.
There's more Kyles. I just said there's more Kyles.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know his first name.
They're going to come out and they're going to buy guns and they protect their property and going to shoot black people who try to burn it down.
He's not protecting his property. He's not protecting his property.
He wasn't.
You're choosing the words wrong, Paul.
Roberto, he's emboldened people to get guns now to defend their property.
Yeah, but that's twisted though, because that's not what he
Roberto,
did.
Guess who has more guns in America than another particular party group? The Republicans.
Right, but the point is, the point what Roberto was saying is,
see what I'm saying?
If you're protecting,
this is just going to cause more. But my point is, it's going to cause more division than it does anything else.
No. If you're protecting your property, you're protecting your property, right?
But what I'm saying is they're going to defend it with lethal force now.
But
so the BLM riot is going to start up, and people are going to start opening up.
They did it during the Rodney King trials. They have been protecting their properties with force. Go watch the fucking.
Yeah, Koreans did it during Rodney King. The Koreans did it. They called Koreans on rooftops or whatever it was.
Yes, right.
Yeah,
so
they were killing black people indiscriminately who tried to enter their stores.
Rittenhouse was not protecting anything. He was not protecting anything. That's the
difference. He was protecting himself.
He had no business being there, Paul. What the hell are you talking about?
Hang on. He had a second home in Kenosha. He had plenty of business being there.
He doesn't live there. He lives with his mom. So what? Because my parents were born in Jamaica, I have the right to go over to Jamaica with a gun and instigate stuff that doesn't apply to me?
His father and his grandmother live there.
But he doesn't live with them. He lives with his mom. That's irrelevant.
You don't know irrelevant. That. He could stay over and he could stay on his dad's
so maybe his third aunt from his mother's father's side lives there. That justifies him walking in the streets with an AR-15.
And how many counties did Rosenbaum cross to be at the riot, Roberto?
Who cares? Is that my argument? My argument being is he has no business being there, Paul. He has no business being there. Just like you would get mad at your son for being there, supporting a cause to irregulate black killings. You get mad at him for that before a guy going there with no intentions but to cause problems?
You don't know
Why
that.
Did he have to bring the gun, Paul? Why did he have to bring the gun? Why did he bring the gun? He's fearing for his life?
Because it's his Second Amendment right. It's his Second Amendment right.
But why isn't everybody carrying guns? Everybody has Second Amendment rights.
Everyone could.
Because they have the intelligence to not do it, Paul. They have the intelligence to not do it. And if you don't see that, then I'm sorry to say, you see things totally different.
Roberto, you're attributing motive to him.
I'm attributing motive.
You're saying he went there to instigate stuff. You don't know that. You don't know
either. You don't know either.
I don't. I just know what his actions were. His actions were on that evening. He was cleaning graffiti. He put out a fire. He put out a fire. He was.
Oh yeah, really? I didn't see that. So what he put out a fire? That justifies killing a man? Did you come there with your fire extinguisher? Come with your fire extinguisher, or come with your first aid kit. Get your priorities in check. What are you there for? What are you there for? You're there for first aid. You have an AR-15. You have no medical kit on you, but you're there to help people. Come on,
yeah, he's allowed to help people and be defensive of himself as well. It's his Second Amendment right.
You fall for that. I don't fall for that. Everyone has an opinion. You have yours. I have mine.
Yeah, what I'm saying is the point is this: legally, everything he did was correct. He could own that firearm. He could have it on his back. He had a Second Amendment right to defend himself, and he could be at the
that were there, Paul.
Well, let me ask you this.
All the people that were there had that same right.
Danny got a question. Go ahead.
Okay,
Danny.
everything you say is right about Second Amendment. I give you all that. But if he chose to exercise better judgment and say, look, I want to go and help, but I really don't have to go and help. I have the right to carry my gun, but I really don't need to carry my gun. If he had chose that action, would he have been in this trouble? Would those guys have been dead? Yes or no?
The guy that had the firearm, I can't be
sure. Simple
because
yes
he had a concealed firearm that he didn't have a legal right to carry.
Okay, but I'm saying would he have been on trial?
Would he have been killed then? No. Yeah. But if the rioters hadn't rioted, he wouldn't be there either. So
okay, but two wrongs don't make a right, Paul.
Yeah, but at one point, but Danny, can you empathize with this at least, right? When you see that city was already on fire like a week earlier or whatever it was from another riot, like, can you not see that people have had enough? Like, people have had enough. They've had enough of people burning down it. No, let me finish my point. People have had enough of other people burning down their businesses, whether they're white, brown, or whatever. They're sick of it, so they're going to shoot motherfuckers who do it. Like, honestly,
we've had enough of fucking.
There's a civil war then, Enzo. Like, is that what we're going for? Like,
but this is my point. We've had enough of that. So you can sit there and say those people that got their business burned down had enough, but we've had enough too.
Okay, so what's the solution then? We just have a civil war where they just kill each other. Is that what you are? What's the solution?
We're not saying that's what the solution is, Paul, because we don't know. If we know what the solution was, then there wouldn't be such thing as civil rights. It wouldn't be racial inequality. There wouldn't be all the stuff there wouldn't be affirmative action. But you got to do something, whether it's baby steps, whatever steps you got to put in place. Gonna try and do something, and I'm not.
Is burning down businesses really helping the cause? So, especially,
I'm not saying it is, Paul. No one on this panel has said burning down or rioting is right. No one said.
Well, you are justifying it by we've had enough.
I'm not justifying. There is no action justifying it. All I'm saying is that if he had not been there, some of this problematic actions would not have happened. That is my only point I've been trying to express all night, but you don't want to say
exactly. Yes. You and me both, Danny. You and me both. I didn't.
He had not been there. He had not been there.
Basically, breaking it down as simple as it can possibly get. He had a choice, and he chose wrong.
Facts. He's a 17-year-old kid, right? Obviously, we say you gotta be, and even you're 18 when you're an adult, right? That's when you're considered an adult. And some of even say sometimes 18 is not even enough to say someone's an adult, right? So he was not of an adult mind to go and do what he did, if you want to put it that way.
He thought he was going to go help, and he grabbed his AR and thought he was going to be in Call of Duty or some shit.
Exactly.
Again, exactly. I see. No. You're attributing motive again. can you just empathize with me for a second?
Paul,
Imagine
Paul,
this.
like
Okay, I'm going to attribute a different motive. Imagine this. JJ, no, you just attributed a motive. Let me respond to it. Imagine this, for instance. He goes, I'm going down to help people out. Imagine this, for just this scenario instead. This is his motivation. He thinks, I'm going to go down. I'm going to help the fellow people that are in my dad's city. I'm going to help out the people. I'm going to go down there, but I'm going to take my rifle because I want to protect myself because I've seen these people beat some people up, right? I want to protect myself. So that's why I'm going to take my rifle. I can't carry a handgun legally, so I'm going to carry this because I can carry this legally, right? In my state. So I'm going to go down and I'm going to help people out. I'm going to put out fires. I'm going to try and give medical aid to people, and also I'm going to take the gun for protection. What did I just do? I attributed a motive that was opposite to yours because, unfortunately, again, your perspective is that he has gone there to instigate things. Why can't
you don't know he wasn't either, though?
Yeah, you could be wrong too, Paul.
I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. My point with what I just said was stop attributing motive to him. Look at the facts on the ground.
Yeah, but you're attributing motive too when you say he's there to put out fires and do these things.
If
he went there to put out fires, wouldn't he bring a fire extinguisher?
Roberto, what I said was look at the facts on the ground. There are witnesses that saw him putting out dumpster fires. I'm talking about the facts, not his motives. I'm talking about what he actually was saying.
What about the witnesses that said they saw him parading around, garnishing his gun? Are these totally ignored? That's bullshit, right? Those aren't facts. Those are bullshit, right? Because anything that discredits this kid is bullshit. Anything that glorifies him is facts. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing, though. It's not what you said. It's what I'm seeing. Because you're only talking about the highlighted version. Danny and I are not even talking about any version. Me saying he had no business being there is all I'm saying. He had no business being there. If he wanted to be there as a witness. You didn't need a gun because not everybody there had an AR on their back, Paul.
And to Roberto's point, right? When the Canadians, the last time they won the Stanley Cup, I was like, yo, I'm going down there, right? And if I had went down there and some shit popped off, I had no right being there because I knew what was going to happen.
Yes.
Right? I knew they were going to fucking loot, and I went down there because I said, you know what? Maybe I can help or get involved in some looting and get some stuff. Regardless of what the situation I'm going for, I should not have been there.
Let me ask you this, Paul, let me ask you this. That same scenario you said, everything. I'm not going to add this. That's your son. He tells you that. And what are you going to tell him, son? I think you're doing the right thing.
I'd say stay out of it. The police need to handle this.
Okay,
exactly.
That is all we've been saying all night.
I've never said. I literally said this to Enzo in the chat. We can have a debate about like whether he should have been there or not. The fact is that he was. So when he was there, we should look at what the facts were of what he was there. The witnesses that were there that saw him doing the things that he was doing, and then he was chased, he was beaten repeatedly, and he shot only the people that did it to him. He could have opened up on them all.
I agree with what you're saying, Paul. What I'm telling you, in the legal process, I've been doing this for 26 years. They reverse engineer that shit. Would this happen if this would happen? Would this happen when this was happening? And the question would have been asked in that trial, and I guarantee it was asked if we put the transcripts. Would this have happened if Mr. Rattenhouse chose to stay at home? And they would have been no. That is the only point I've been arguing on last night. If he decided to go down there and face whatever consequences, that's his choice.
But again, Denny, was it his legal right to go down there?
It's his.
Yes. Was it legal right from the
It was. I'm gonna say this again. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something.
Two things can be true at once. Was he stupid for going there? Yes. Was he legally okay to go there? Yes. So that's what they have to in the court. They have to look at the legal reasoning. They have to look at the law. You know this.
Yeah.
That's why he was. That's why he was
all night. We've been arguing this all night.
It's all about choice.
Now you're trying to change it a little bit. I've been saying this.
It's all about choice, and you chose wrong.
And so has Roberto. All we're saying at one point in this whole argument is that he did not have a legitimate reason to be on there. He wouldn't be on there because he was 17 years old. That he felt like, damn, I'm gonna be in the thick of shit instead of thinking like somebody who's 51 or 57 or 47. You just said yourself, if that was your son, you need to stay out of that. You don't need to go down there because you're gonna get yourself in a situation. That's the only thing I'm saying. That's the only thing I'm saying.
You're gonna get yourself killed, or
that's
they're gonna
that's the only thing. That is the only thing I'm saying. And had he not gone down there, we wouldn't even talk about this.
I know you got one thing to say, Paul, but hold on, one thing. Let me ask you a question. How many other people out there had ARs and walking around the streets parading them?
I don't know.
Nobody. Him. Just him.
We don't know.
Yes,
you don't think that it would have been shown brought that to their attention? That Rittenhouse was not the only guy walking with an AR-15.
Enzo, we don't know who had concealed weapons.
But Paul, I'm not talking about the defense would have brought that up.
Again, it doesn't matter concealed or not concealed. What's the difference? Concealed.
My point is, if he had went there with a concealed gun, no one would have known he had a gun, and they wouldn't have seen him as a threat. But the fact that he went down there and he had that shit throwing, they don't know why he is there. Whether it's there to help,
that makes them stupid because they attacked a boy with a rifle. No,
they're idiots. Because he was a boy. They thought they could overpower him.
Yeah, and they're idiots, Roberto.
Yes, they are idiots. I won't argue with you.
Charging a man with a gun, they're idiots.
I said it. They are idiots. Why would you run at a guy with a gun? Maybe if I saw a 15-year-old with a gun, he'd look the other way. I'll charge him because he's 15 years old. If I get there, I'll throw him in a tree. But if it's a grown-ass man, if there's no stick or a rock I could smash him in the head, I'm not charging him unless my life is threatened.
And now I'm going to say this on the flip side. Right? Okay. On the flip side, when the police are told to stand down because it will look like my racism if they interfere, which is what happened, and it's happened in many of these protests, right?
You don't know that.
To stand down or hold back. They've reported it. The police chief has literally said it in multiple counties. Danny,
well, I'm telling you what I know. If we go to a place, a riot situation, and we make an assessment, that's what we get paid. That's why I get paid. We make quick assessments. Look, Chief, we can't go there because we don't have enough manpower to handle these people accordingly. So what we're going to do, we're going to pull back to a safe place. We're going to call the state and the federal government, hey, you need to send the state police, you need to send SLED here in South Carolina, or you need to send National Guard, somebody, because right now, currently this department and the manpower we got will not be sufficient enough. That could possibly have happened in this particular situation. They were told to stand down because what sense it make to send in 10 officers to 150 people and they're going to get killed?
Okay. So then what happens then? Second Amendment comes into play, Danny. That's the facts of it. I'm going to tell you this. If I saw the police rolling back, right, as a riot was coming towards me, burning down everything in its path, and I was an American and I owned a weapon, you better believe I'm strapping that up and I'm standing at the front yard pointing at those motherfuckers as they approach me.
If they're coming toward your house or your property, I got no problem with you doing that.
So what we're seeing here is this is set a precedent. This is my point altogether, right? You keep saying, or let me say, what I interpreted what you were saying was, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you were saying that you feel like you've been drowning for so long that now you're coming up for air, and these riots are a cause of that. They're like they're the byproduct of being stood on the neck for so long inside of America and Canada.
For some people, yes.
I'm saying some people. I'm not saying all.
So these people that are doing this, that are rioting, every time they do it, BLM drops in like opinion because people see that even if that's not connected, right? They see these riots as direct correlation to BLM causes, right? So each time they do it, you're going to have more people now who arm up to protect their businesses. And we're going to have a situation where rioters are going to approach and there's going to be hundreds dead in the streets.
You know that video shit you're talking about, Nzo? How everything comes from video, not from the media.
Right.
Did you see the video of the guy who caught the undercover cop posing as a Black Lives Matter? And he had Molotov cocktails in his hand?
Yes.
Now that happens, Paul. You have people, when I say that you have people who go into these causes to disrupt the cause by causing violent things to happen. It might not necessarily always be a cop. In this case, it was. But could you not foresee that happening, that there's a peaceful protest and they send people in there to disrupt it and make it look like it's not a peaceful protest?
Exactly.
Is that possible?
That
I know.
happens.
I'm not saying possible. I'm saying that it happens because
yes, it does happen. It does happen, and you're right. It is going to kill the momentum of Black Lives Matters. That just means that Black Lives Matters is not the thing to get us to where we need to be. It's got to be something else.
It's not just going to kill the momentum, Roberto. It's going to kill the people.
No, it's going to kill the momentum of Black Lives Matters. It won't kill us. We've been struggling for too long.
Right. And I'm saying, like, the people that are out on the riots, they're going to get killed. People are going to start opening up. Because the police are going, as Zenny just said, we can't control this. We need the National Guard. And people are going to see them pulling out going, okay, well, I'm going to have to take care of myself. And
so, Paul, what do you want us to do? What do you want us to do?
I'm saying, Danny, like,
what is your solution?
Well, I'm asking, what I'm saying is like, this is part of, I think, part of the reason why he was there. I think this was part of the reason why he was there. I think he's just a small example. Yeah, I'm giving it. I think he's a small example of what people are like prepping to do when these riots continue to happen inside of their cities. They don't want their whole livelihood destroyed because some dude was killed, right? And people are angry about it. Like,
why did that shit happen September 6th?
They have nothing to do with it, and they have these are Indians, like they are literal immigrants to America that had their entire livelihoods burned down in that Kenosha riot. There were multicultural businesses that were burned down, not white people businesses, multicultural businesses, brown people. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, so,
but how is it that you can recognize and sympathize and empathize with these people's frustrations? But the same frustrations that we have, you saying that doesn't.
No, that's not true either. I'm on the record as saying, hang on, Jenny. I'm on the hey. I just said there are nuances to this Jacob Blake thing. There is no nuance to Trayvon. There is no nuance to George Floyd.
No,
right?
But you asked a question earlier about how riots correlate with frustrations of black people. I'm telling you. Frustrations exhibit itself in different ways. In one culture, frustration might exhibit a way like this. In another culture, it's like that. I can't say that there's one perfect way for frustration to be exhibited, but I can tell you for someone whose people has been on the short end of the stick for the past 400 years, that frustration is frustration. Maybe not the way we exhibit it or the way we express it may not coincide with what you think is the correct way, but that's our way.
I'm not talking about correct or wrong ways. I'm just saying that it's not going to help.
Nobody frustration is going to help. Nobody frustration is going to help until we decide to sit down.
It's just going to lead.
Like, no, hold on, Paul. That's another reason. That's another spot. No, that's another spot where you're wrong, because certain people may see it as that, but the majority of the world, when George Floyd happened, white people and everybody were out there protesting together. So my point is, the small group is the small group. Huh?
Protesting.
Yeah, protesting. Yeah, absolutely. Out there protesting.
We had protests here for it, man. There were protests in Melbourne here, and it burned down any buildings.
But the point, what we're saying is, we have the protests, right? But there have that small group, like Roberto said, that infiltrated and make it look like the protest.
Oh, Antifa, man! Antifa is a terrorist organization. They need to be wiped out. Those people are evil.
That is the point.
I think you're under the impression that we are condoning the riots. No,
I never said that. You think that?
Okay, what I'm saying for the record, there is no scenario that I think rioting is the correct thing to do. All I'm just saying that when people that aren't educated, they are frustrated, they are tired, they feel like there is no one listening to them, that they would do extreme things to try to get that attention or try to so-called pay them back. I'm not justifying it at all. If we get them on camera and we can see they do it, we lock their ass up. Blue, black, white, green, male or female. All I'm saying is that the reason why that is because when you felt like you've been pissed on for so long, you get the short end of the stick, no one understands, no one listens to you, then you're going to do something extreme. And I'm not condoning that extreme action at all. All I'm saying is that is why I believe this rioting happens. This rioting is stupid. And I think everybody who is a business owner, a homeowner, or whatever they own has a right to protect their property. Right. But if it's not directly in my front yard or in my family front yard or my business, I'm not going to the next town to damn worry about Jumpy Joe business, because while I'm over there helping Jumpy Joe business, my business might be getting screwed. So that's all I'm saying is Rittenhouse, he had the right to be out there and do everything you said he did. But what I'm saying, 17 years old, in my opinion, is not old enough to make a decision thinking a long way down the road. Because if he made if he chose not to go down there, he wouldn't even been in court. He wouldn't even have his life turned upside down, topsy turvy.
That is
all that I'm saying.
And I'm gonna let everybody say one more thing so that we can close it up. I'm glad you guys came in. JJ, you didn't say much. You started off. What you got to say?
Well, you don't want to hear exactly what I have to say because
no, we want to hear exactly what you have to say.
No, because I can't do that. I can't do that. And it ain't got nothing to do about the riot situation or anything else. It's just this whole time listening, I kept my mouth shut for the most part, and I just kept hearing an argument of how water is wet or how wet is water. It's just, it made no sense because no matter what you guys said, Paul had an opposite side to it. So it sounded like an argument just to argue. I agree with all three of you guys on top. I do. But I don't agree with the burning the shit down part. To me, I believe in peaceful. I believe in peaceful protest.
Facts.
We have a right to say what we got to say if it's peaceful. One day everybody will realize that.
You'll see people crying at those things when it happens because it just deflates the cause, man.
Mm-hmm. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm only a couple years younger than Danny is. I'm a middle-aged white man, okay? And I agree with these guys, okay? It's got to stop. It's been happening too long. It's got to stop.
And I've said it many times. When I went to my protest, I was like, hey, guys, this is how you do it. No violence, nothing. But there was a difference too, right? Which I said too, which there was absolutely no police presence. You understand? So my thing is when people are protesting, right, there's a lot of police presence out there and you're protesting the murdering of a black man by a white cop. That's a little bit antagonizing as well. Now, I know they got to do it to protect. I know that 100%, especially in the States, totally different. So I know they got to protect the situation, but it's still a little bit antagonizing, man. It really is. And I've seen some situations where it could be a peaceful protest, but then you get that little bunch who stand up in front of the cops and start cursing, and it's a back and forth with the cops, and then things get out of hand, and that's how things usually start, Paul, go ahead. JJ, go ahead, finish up.
Sorry. No, it's just like I said earlier, man. It just comes down to one thing: choice. Some people choose wrong. We can't fix that. Mistakes happen. Unfortunately, lives are lost when those kind of mistakes are happening.
No, I agree. And like Paul said, it looks like, and from all the evidence and from what I've read, looks like he was defending himself. I get that 100%. I'm not wronging him for that part of it. I just think the decision he made to go down there is what caused everything, and that's where the problem is. Go ahead, Paul.
Poe, I'm not blaming black people. I'm saying that all people have a responsibility when it comes to this. So whoever's rioting, they have a responsibility not to burn down people's buildings. Of course, a mob mentality is going to take over. I think group has an issue here. I think the Jacob Blake thing was stoked by the media. I think that the people, how he, even we saw in that clip that you played, Enzo, I want everyone to rise up. Like, okay, to what? Protest that your old mate was shot for, dealing a minor and resisting arrest and reaching for a knife. Okay, cool. We can protest. We can talk about how many times he was shot, but the fact that he was subdued by the police before taking off with 3 children is a good thing in my book. And I don't care if he's white, black, or whatever. He was taking off and kidnapping children, and this guy.
They were his kids.
He did it on minor that very
You can't kidnap your own fucking kids. It was his kids.
You can if he called 911 on you, man.
They are his kids. We don't know if she never wanted him to see his kids.
You heard her. Enzo, have you even heard?
No. I heard the call, right? But what I'm trying to say is we don't know if she was like years. It could have been years he never seen his kids, and you get fucking fed up. Like, I want to see my damn kids.
He's wanted for sexually molesting a person under 16. That's what.
So
he's
what does that mean? He did it to his kids?
They police officers don't know that, so they have to go on the. They have to assume those kids are in danger.
They're going in the fact that.
Penny, do they have to assume those kids are in danger when they arrive on the scene? When they've got a warrant for a guy that's diddled a child?
If you get a warrant, usually whenever we have a warrant, we have a little background. Usually the warrant will have a little synopsis of what the individual did, or in most cases, we have a familiarity with the individual. Oh, that's Nzo Hodges. His MO is blah 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 blah.
Roberto Mendez.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, let me earn my stripes. It was me, Danny.
Yeah, we would have a little synopsis or background on the individual. Like in this case, I didn't know the particulars, like you're saying, but the 3 kids, we probably would know whether or not if the mother called in, she probably would say, "Look, I got a restraining order against him, and we divorced, and we da." If we get that kind of information, then that would cause us to act one way or the other. But if we didn't have that, then it's like Nzo said: if they don't have a divorce, then you cannot kidnap your own kids. They got divorced, and the parent, one parent or the other, has been awarded custody. Then that's when you get to the kidnapping.
Right.
Yeah. Well, when the report said that when they arrived on scene, she was screaming like he's got my son. He's got my son.
Okay.
But it's his kid though.
Yeah, but he's wanted, dude. It's like
you're saying okay, but you're saying hold on. First off, let's fix this first because we've talked about this, me and Danny. When you're talking about the sexual assault stuff, Danny just gave a perfect example of how someone can be a sex offender, right? So you're saying maybe he slept with a 16-year-old. Fine, his kids are not 16. His kids are kids. They were younger than that. So you can't assume that just because you can't assume just because he was with a minor that he was going to hurt his own fucking kids. You can't assume that.
Yeah, you gotta have the background before you go ahead.
But even then, he resisted arrest. He resisted tasing twice. He got away from the officers. He was reaching for a knife that was found in the driver's side.
First off, they even said in the video they don't know if he was reaching for the knife. So you can't say he was reaching for the knife.
You can see it in the video. He's reaching down into the car.
But you don't know if the knife was there. You don't know if the knife was found in the glove blocks. You don't know where the knife was. Did they tell you where they found the knife? I'm not saying that, Paul. I'm not saying that, Paul. The
knife was in the car, but like Nzo said, we don't know exactly where the knife was at in the car based on what I've seen. But the knife was in fact in the car, so a police officer could articulate that after finding the knife, that he could articulate. I felt for my safety, and I didn't know whether or not he had a weapon there. But when the weapon materializes, then that strengthens the officer's case. Go ahead.
Right. So what I'm trying to say is, like, you don't know what he was doing going into the car, right? And you're saying he was a sexual molester. Yes, if that's what he was, and he actually did that, or maybe he just slept with a girl that he didn't know was 16 and got caught. That could happen too. Right, so you don't know the particulars of that case, but just to sit there and say that, oh, he's a fucking molester or he's a pedophile.
No, I didn't say that. I said that he was wanted. I said he
touching
was
a minor
for sexual assault in the 3rd degree,
which a minor, right? Yeah. Yes. So that's the same, but you don't know the particulars of that to say that.
That's true, but you have to roll up on it could be anything, and the police officer had to roll up thinking it could be anything.
But at the end of the day, like Danny said, they have to have some information for them just to assume that his kids were in danger.
But the thing is, even the officer said that he had to do something because he believed that the children were an imminent threat.
That's what
he says that in the report.
But that's what he's going to say, bro.
My question is, would we be having
this? Said fucking George Floyd. Fucking, you know what I mean?
So would you be talking about this if the guy was white?
What do you mean?
No, because I was just going to talk about a video where I saw a white guy was garnishing a knife in his hand.
No, you wouldn't.
Hey?
And
you're telling me I wouldn't, right?
I'm saying
all the time. We don't know the situation
of
the political. I said I'm a critical thinker.
Wet is water.
Let me get my point. across. Okay, what I meant was, if this was reported the same way, but the guy was white, would there have been a riot?
Would there have been a riot?
Probably not. And that
No,
white guy,
but
and that white guy
Be
probably
any
would have been.
outrage that he was shot seven times.
Yeah, but
He
there
would have
would,
been.
yes,
He would have been shot 7 times.
exactly. And if he was, you better believe there would have been fucking outrage. Would there have been a riot? No, but you know why? Because it doesn't happen to them constantly like it does to us, right?
No, that's not true.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
that is not true. Actually, no, the FBI.
You still live in the U.S., Paul.
No.
This is the white guy. This is the white guy. Yes, it is.
No. JJ. The FBI.
You're just arguing, man. You're making no real point. Come on, bro. Get with it.
I'm about to make a point, JJ. I'm about to make a point. Go look it up. The FBI crime stats show that white men are more likely to be shot by a police officer than black men. They are shot more
or guilty, though, Paul. You see, this is the fucking thing with the stat. People like to bring that stat up. Oh, white men are killed more. But are they fucking innocent?
Was Jake Blake guilty or innocent?
What was he guilty of, Paul? Was
he resisting arrest?
Okay.
Does that
deserve to die?
Reaching for a knife.
Does that deserve to die?
Could I say something? Time out. Could I say something?
Was George Floyd innocent or guilty? Was Sandra Bland innocent or guilty? No. We're talking about the whole thing in general, right? Because you're saying if it was a white person or something else, it would be different. No, were they innocent? George Floyd was innocent. Sandra Bland was innocent. Oh my God, Eric Gardner was innocent. Tamir Rice, innocent. Castillo, I can't remember his last name. Castillo, the dude that was in the car that got shot when he told the cops that he had his gun and they pulled it out and fucking railed on him in the car, died in front of his wife and kids. They were innocent. So you're going to call one case of a man who may have been guilty compared to every other innocent case, right? This is my point. You can sit there and say that white people get killed by cops by more, yes, but are they fucking innocent? Getting killed and getting murdered are two different things, and we get fucking murdered. This is the point. We get murdered. There's a difference. So you can bring up that stat about the FBI or whatever, but go and see how many of those white people were actually innocent. Go on YouTube and watch the fucking videos of how situations are different when it's a black person and it's a white person. A dude walking around with a machete, the cop did not try to shoot this guy. The cop got stabbed in his neck. Now, again, you can say it had to do with the individual, but at the end of the day, that was grounds to murk this guy, and they didn't do it when he was white. But yet you want to choke out a fucking man because he's selling cigarettes.
They had a guy garnishing a knife in clear view. You know what the cops did? They backed up about 10 to 15 feet with their guns drawn and demanded he drop his knife. Over and over and over and over and over to the point where they ended up multiple people tasing him. But he had the knife in his hand, making gestures like he's going to stab, where this guy just reached. It doesn't justify the means, Paul. Yes, the call was the kids were being taken. Two cops didn't do their job properly.
No, I'm saying
they didn't do their job properly.
What I'm saying is, when you're talking about the gesturing, right? How far away were the cops from him?
They backed up because they saw he had a knife. Why are these guys, if they know he had a knife in the car and he's reaching for it, why did they got to stand right beside him? Why couldn't you subdue him?
They were chasing him to subdue him. Did you not watch the video? I watched the
video. That was a very fucking weak display of subduing somebody. Grabbing his T-shirt?
They chased him.
Play the video again. Play the video again.
The door, and that's
play the video again. Did they jump on him?
What's up, Lunga?
Yeah, they were on him at the start.
No, that was a very weak, Paul.
Are we now? I gotta understand something here. Are we now saying that the police let him go on purpose so they could shoot him 7 times?
Oh no, no. That could never happen. That can never happen.
Oh, Roberto, man, dude, that's unfortunate because what you're showing here is that it's unfortunate because you're showing a bias. You're showing a complete bias on the narrative.
It's not something I've seen repeatedly, year after year after year.
So they can shoot him in the back.
Cops killing black people. When I was a kid, Paul, I've been watching you talk. Paul, I let you talk for 15 minutes. I didn't say a word. Every time I talk, you talk over me. Every time I talk, you talk over me. But yet I listened to you for 15 minutes. I didn't say a word. Cops come with different attitude when it's black, white. If you don't want to accept it, that is something you need to get over. I don't need to justify what I've been seeing since I'm 10 years old, because when I was a little kid, I grew up in a diverse neighborhood. My friends were Italian, Greek, Jewish, Filipino, Russian. So I didn't know what racism was. I really didn't experience till I played hockey. But now what I see, I know what I'm seeing. And I've been seeing it for a very long time. I would see myself living in the US as a jail sentence because I can't live the way I live in Canada. I would be ignorant bringing my thoughts over there. I wouldn't last a month. Correct. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I used to tell myself, I'm going to buy a kit to go to the US. You know what that kit's going to entail? A bulletproof vest, handcuffs, and I'm going to wear a cloth that I can lie down without the cops having to subdue me. I'll put my own fucking cuffs on, and I'll lie down myself so I could live. Who else goes through that? Who else has a fear of going somewhere and being killed by cops for not following procedure?
I told Yello one time, I was like, yo, I've never had to have a talk with my son about getting killed by cops. I will say you gotta respect them, they will fuck you up, but I've never had to say you have to worry about them killing you in cold blood, because it does not happen here. It has happened,
but on a very, very small scale.
That's what I said. It has happened. Anthony Griffin, and I believe there was another one, but that's two in my 40 fucking years, at least ones that are high profile. You know what I mean?
You know who they're doing it to? They're doing it to the Inuits. The Indians.
Yeah. They're worse off than we are, for sure. But I'm just saying, like, that's why I'm saying that stat when you bring up, to my point anyways, is that stat where you bring up where you say, oh, white people are getting killed more. Yes, but there's a difference between killing and murdering. And we've been fucking murdered constantly.
And here's another thing I could say. Living in Montreal, like Nzo said, we experience racism, but nowhere near the extent of the U.S. But I could tell you who is victimized like blacks in the U.S. It's those exact people I said, the Inuits. They're always assumed to be drunk, even though they're not. Mm-hmm. They're always mistreated. Mm-hmm. They're always they have no rights.
Facts.
They're treated like dogs.
Yeah.
I stand up for them. I speak for them. I see what I see. I can't deny it. I can't say, oh no, blacks suffer more than you. We've been suffering longer. Suffering is fucking suffering, man. I don't care what nationality you are. Injustice is injustice. Facts. It's not about black. It's just it happens to us more times than not. Just like white people get the job more times than not than the black guy. That's all. It just happens, Paul. It's not like we wanted to, because we'd be fucking stupid if we wanted to live this life. We just want justice. We don't want to be treated better. We don't want to be treated worse. We want to be treated the same as everybody else. You cross the street, you get a ticket, just like I would for crossing the street when it's red. That's all we're asking for. And we've seen it. We've witnessed it. We're tired of it. We're tired of explaining it. We can't understand why more people can't see it like JJ sees it. He's white and he sees it. Why can't more people see it? Are they ignorant? Are they part of the problem? When do we stop asking questions?
And this is the thing Pickle said, But Anzo, first off, Lunga said, wasn't we just talking about that? Yes, we were. And I've said it many times. Like I said it, the people that are worse off here in Canada than black people are the Inuit people. Hands down. I said they were fucking practically extinct over here, bro. That's the way it is. You know what I mean? They gave them a piece of land and tried to take it from them to build a fucking golf course. And they did not play. That's why they still have their land. Now, Pickle said, but Anzo, you're just assuming a lot of white killings are justified, but you don't know because it's not widely reported. I'm going off of the statistic that Paul tried to bring up, Pickle, which was that white people are killed at a more rate than black people. And I said, maybe so, but how many of them were innocent? That was my point. I wasn't assuming that all fucking killings were justified. My point was how many of them are innocent. That's my point. Because when it comes to the innocent of it, I'm sorry, but black people have been getting this shit for years. And I say this all the time. If you guys are not black, you don't understand. You can't understand. You think you can watch all the fucking videos and all the fucking news and read all this shit and think you can understand and get a clear picture of what is going on, but you can't. This is why I have these discussions with you guys so that you can at least fucking think about the things that you are hearing from 3 black men. This is it. But what happens is we have these conversations and then I go into the chat and you guys are seeking the same fucking things like we've never had this conversation. All I want you guys to understand is this is our experience. And unless you live in it, you will never understand it. No matter what fucking videos or books or stats or anything you read, you're not. And this is my point. That's why I say these conversations are important. But if we leave here and you guys speak the same thing and don't take some of the shit that we take into consideration, then like JJ said, water's wet. We're having these conversations for nothing. And that's all I'm saying is at least
but you just said that I can never understand because I'm not black. So how can I understand or take anything from you? Don't laugh, Roberto.
I said understand what it's like to be.
Oh, I'm laughing. I can laugh, Paul. I can see the humor in some things.
I said
I'm not being humorous. I'm being serious.
Yes, I know.
Understand what we go through.
But that's not what he's saying. You misinterpreted what he's saying.
Understand what we go through. But
yeah, he said the same thing in chat the other day that I can never understand because I'm not black. So
yes, you can't.
You can't understand the true experience. You can understand, but you can't understand the true experience unless you yourself are black.
My point is when we
I don't know what white privilege is. And I can assume what white privilege is. When
we try to have these conversations, Paul, this is my point. When we try to have these conversations, we're trying to give you guys at least an example of experience of what we go through. But what I see in the chat is after we have these conversations, you guys still stick with your ways and take nothing we say into consideration.
Okay, here's some anecdotal evidence for you. Every time a cop rolls up behind me, I'm scared.
That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
They're intimidating. They put the sirens on. I've been pulled over once, and I was like, "Oh shit, the cops!" And I was like, "Yes, sir, please, sir, 3 bags, sir."
Yes.
Yeah, was I scared that
but
someone?
Your chance of walking away from that with your life is higher than us.
Yeah,
you
but
never fear for your life.
Intimidation for the cops.
But you don't fear for your life, Paul. There's a difference. You don't fear for your life. You fear you're going to get a ticket.
I'm asking a question here. Does every single black person fear for their life when a cop rolls up on them?
In the U.S., I like to think yes. I like to think yes. In the U.S., I like to think yes. But I can't answer that. I'm not in the U.S.
And Danny can attest to this.
No, Danny's
no, not what I'm saying.
That's entrapment.
No, not what I'm saying. I'm saying about the conversation that black men have to have with their children about being murdered by cops. We and Roberto don't have to have that conversation because we don't live in the States. But there are a lot of black men and black women that have to have that conversation.
Make sure
you as a white man will never have to have that conversation with your kid. You will never have to have that conversation with your kid.
Unless you're going through that experience.
How do you, so my question here would be, how do you change that conversation then? How do you not have that conversation anymore?
Hopefully, in time heals,
we would
man.
do it.
Time heals.
But
Hopefully,
the next
generation, because obviously, the faded out kind of KKK that someone was mentioning is fading out. They're fading out. Yes, they're getting old. They're slowly coming out, and we're hoping that the newer generation won't think and feel the same way. Eventually, they die off. But if they inbred it enough, the strength is still there.
There is absolutely not. No, it is not more emotion than fact, Paul. It is Pickle. It is fact. You guys just don't see the facts because you don't understand it. Like I said many times, I don't give a fuck what books or what fucking stats you read. I don't care.
That ain't necessarily true, Anzo, as it relates to him, because philosophical Pickle understand it, because he just said in the last stream that there's no way he portrayed not being white.
That's right. I remember that.
He understands it. So you understand it. You know that if you get on this side of the fence, your life is going to change dramatically.
Facts.
That's
100%.
just the facts. I ain't mad at you. Every white person is not our enemy.
And every
black person is not our friend.
That is correct.
The same way I can understand. And
that's not a narrative, dude. Lunga, that's not a narrative. That's a crime stat.
Wait, hold on. Let Danny finish first, and then you go on, Lunga. I was going to get to that. Go ahead.
All I'm going to say is the way, like Paul said this earlier. He said, and correct me if I'm wrong, Paul. You said just because you're not black, I mean you can't understand what black people go through. That was your question, your statement, right? Okay.
Yeah.
This is how
we have conversations, but if I can never understand what is to be the black experience, how can I understand your position?
But you saying that you can understand. Am I understanding that correctly? That you don't have to be black to understand our issues? Is that
that's what that's what I'm taking the point that he said.
No, I'm asking you.
All right,
you're asking
from a white man. Okay, I understand everything that's going on, but I will never fully understand it because I'm not black.
Right.
Okay. I understand.
There's a point where you can understand the situation. Sorry.
Right.
I'm asking Chris. I'm sorry. I'm asking Paul. That's how you feel? That you do understand, even though you're white?
No, I said I don't. I said, how can I asked a question to him.
But I'm asking you a question. Do you feel that Anzo's statement is wrong? You feel like you do understand what a black man goes through because you're intelligent enough to comprehend that. Is that true? Am I understanding that?
Are you saying that I can understand lived experiences?
I'm asking you overall.
Now I'm laughing again.
Or does your intelligence, your experience, your understanding of what we're saying and comprehending, do you feel that you can understand what a black person goes through because of your intelligence? You understand what we comprehending and conveying to you? Is that a true statement? Yes or no?
Yes, I can understand.
Okay.
When you say
all right. Now, what I'm going to say to respond is that my wife has had 2 children. I can understand how pregnancy works. I can understand how sperm goes into the uterus and the baby forms, the embryo, all that kind of stuff. I will never, ever, ever, ever be able to understand how it is to have that baby and to feel that baby and to have that connection and stuff. That is the same thing. Yeah, I got enough understanding to comprehend what she's saying, how it happens, what she's telling me, how it feels, but I never can feel that because I don't have the ability, I don't have the tools, I don't have the organs to feel that. Yes, you are a man. Yes, you're an intelligent man. You can comprehend all the stuff that we're saying, but you don't wear the skin. You don't want to trade this skin because you know, based on what we told you, that your life will dramatically change. Philosophical Pickle said that exact same thing last streaming. I'm at the top. I'm the apex predator. I ain't trading it. So if you say that and you're a white man, then you understand that if you put on this skin, shit's gonna be different. That is all that we saying. I don't think that you are my enemy, Paul, but you will never truly understand what it is to be me. And I will never truly understand what it is to be you. I have a son who's 26 years old. Am I afraid when cops stop me? No, because I'm one of them. But I am terrified if somebody stops my son on the side of the road and he calls me and say, "Daddy, I'm scared." I'm fucking terrified.
That's just the facts.
I don't know how it changed. I guess this generation seems to not see color as much as my generation. So I'm hoping that these millennials will be the catalyst for change. But right now, I'm a Generation X um, child. It ain't there.
No.
Right.
It's almost like the Middle East.
And see,
I just don't know when it's going to happen.
But Danny, you can look at birth certificates and learn about it. At the end of the day, the argument is you can't feel how we feel is about an emotion. No, it's not. It's an experience. You will never have the same experience that we have because you don't live in our skins.
I have a question for you, Enzo.
Day.
I have a question for you.
Every day I experience it. And I'm in Canada.
I've got a question for you on this.
Yeah, go ahead.
You assume the white experience to be all privilege?
No.
Well, white privilege was brought up, right?
But you
I just told you we don't know what it is.
You cannot deny that there is not white privilege because
I'm waiting for mine. I've had to work for everything I've had.
That's not
everything
what white privilege is, though. That's the narrative.
Let me give you an example of white privilege.
No,
wife, I'm more educated than my wife. My wife is white. She went to a job where I know there was no way she was qualified to get it, but she went in there. She's well spoken, but she's not more educated than me. And my wife went there, and I was like, man, ain't no way she's gonna get this because I know this. Guess what? She walked out with the job and was making almost double than me. I guarantee if I'd have walked in there, I don't think I would have gotten that. And I lived in a white family for the past 25 years. I've been married 25 years. And I see things in their culture. I'm like, how the hell is this shit? And in my culture, it don't happen. So there is a difference. And I'm not speaking for something that somebody tell me. I'm speaking for something that I live. I'm in an interracial marriage. My 2 daughters are white. My son is black. And I see the other side of the fence and some shit. I'm like, what the fuck? I ain't know nothing about this. So I can speak for Danny. I can't speak for nobody else. And white privilege does exist. It's alive and well, whether you want to believe it or not. I'm not saying you haven't worked for anything you got. But just because of the color of your skin, sometimes you will get a pass, and people that look like me, Nzo, Roberto, won't. That is just facts.
I don't understand that because I'm a law-abiding citizen. I've had only one pullover in my whole life. I've got no tickets.
I've had a shit. I'm a cop, and I've had.
What I'm trying to say is this. Let me get it out.
Okay.
I obey the law. I do the things that a good citizen does. I go to work. I work for what I have, and somehow a privilege is denoted to me because of the color of my skin. Is that not racist in thought and in fact?
All white people exude white privilege. That's not
because there are white people that are poorer than black people.
No, exactly. Listen, man, I've been called many things. I've had many things, but guess what? Privilege was never one of them. Okay, it does not mean every white person.
Exactly.
But you call it white privilege. That's the problem.
That's the label it has.
It's because you have more opportunities to get to where you want to be than we do because of the color of your skin. Paul, just an example. There are no fucking NFL owners whatsoever, but there are a ton of black millionaires and billionaires that would love to own an NFL team. But the reason why they don't is because it's the good old boys. No blacks allowed. You understand what I'm saying?
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question? Do you have facts to substantiate that claim, or are you just assuming it's the good old boys?
There are no black owners in the NFL, and there have been black guys that have tried to buy them. Yes,
right? That was literally the whole plot line of Ballers.
Yeah.
Hang on.
The owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars is
some other black person, and they sold it to a white person instead. Like, that's what I'm asking for facts on this matter. Like, you're saying it's the good old boys. I'm asking, a black person goes to buy an NFL team, right? And they deny the sale to that black person. Do they then turn around and sell it to a white person? Because then I'd agree with you that it's racist, that it's racism. Or they just deny the sale altogether because they want to keep the NFL team. See, that's what I'm asking. I'm asking for facts. You're assuming a racist motive.
Everyone in the NFL, players, everyone across the board has said, everyone. This is not a secret. This is not it's a known thing that the NFL is an old boy network. And we're not even talking about just black. There's certain white people that if you don't live up to the standards that they expect, they don't even allow you in. It's an old boy network. That if you're, like, I'll give you an example. If you're a dude from LA that made your money in the tech market, they don't want you. Okay, it's like the NBA is different. The NBA, it's a little easier to get in,
and NHL,
you know?
a little
NHL.
more
But the NFL is an old boy network. That's how it's always been.
That is correct. That is correct. And you had something you wanted to talk about, Lunga, and we're going to close it up soon.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify a few things. Go ahead, Danny.
Yeah, that's because I got to bounce, man. This has been a very.
Let me hear this, and I'm out.
Yeah. No problem.
No disrespect any longer.
No. This is completely fine. I wasn't even planning to come in. When I start typing in chat, sometimes it gets lost. It's easier to.
About 51 years old and showing up now. I'm sleepy as fuck.
Yeah.
It's all right.
How do you think I feel?
Take it easy, man. Have a good night.
We were supposed to.
See you, Danny.
But it was fire. So what's up, Danny?
When the question was being asked, how do things change, and a lot of people say we don't know because there's no easy answer, right? Of course, there's no easy answer on how this thing changes. You can't just overnight change the hearts and minds of everybody in the country. It's not going to happen like that, and it is a generational time. That's what Trendy was saying when it comes to time, because it is a generational change. Just like we saw the differences to change from Martin Luther King's time till now, that there was a generational change. You need that rollover, right, for that to happen. But when I said the narrative's being pushed, Paul, because you got kind of bristly when I said it, I'll give you an example. This is the point I'm trying to make when I say that. When a black person, multiple millions of black people are telling you their experiences, even if 10% of them, which is a huge high number, 10% of them are lying, let's say, right? Out of a million. Okay, that's still 900,000 people that are experiencing what is happening. Mm-hmm. And when you push back with little tic-tac, but that's not me, it's not all white people, it's not all cops, that doesn't change the fact that those millions of people are still experiencing that. So you're trying to defend the 1%, 2%, 10% of people that don't do it at the expense of the 90% of black people that are experiencing what they're experiencing. And it's detrimental, okay? That's not to say that in some cases you may be correct. You could be. Mm-hmm. But when we got to look at the averages, and we got to look at how many people it's affecting and how institutionalized it is, as a white person, this is what privilege means. Privilege has nothing to do with your social economic status, has nothing to do with how wealthy you were as a child. You could live in a fucking trailer and still be privileged. It has nothing to do with how much money, that people misunderstand what that word means. Fact. Privilege means is you're not looked at the same in society as other people are. That's what it means. And it means that even if it's 50% of the time, not even 100, 50% of the time, you have an advantage over a black person. That's enough to say there's a problem. If white people use that privilege to say, hey, you know what? What's happening isn't right. And people need to start looking at this and taking it seriously and not making tic-tac arguments. That is what will help promote change. But the moment we keep arguing back because of the handful of cases that we're right on compared to the multitude of cases they're right on, you're hurting the change. You're stopping it from happening because you're worried about a handful of white people that might be injustice at the expense of millions of black people that are facing the injustice. That's the issue. It's never going to be a perfect solution, right? And it's never going to be 100%. Of course, no one's stupid. I mean, people think everyone says you think it's all. No one says all. No one's stupid and thinks that every single black person is telling the truth. And of course there's black people that lie about it and exaggerate. Of course there is. Okay? But that doesn't mean that it's a lie. It doesn't mean that it's not happening at the rate that it's happening at. That's where the issue comes in. And when we make these arguments that countermand that, it stops any potential change from happening because you're trying to discredit the argument at that point. Not just the percentage that you think are right. You're discrediting the entire argument when you do that.
Mm-hmm. Hey, that is correct.
Now, I got two questions for Paul. One, I hope you don't mind answering, but I'm trying to pick up your accent. Are you in the UK?
No, I'm Australian.
Australia? Okay.
Be proud, Paul.
Hey,
I'm Australian, mate.
You there right now?
We're not.
Sorry for stereotyping there, Paul.
we're not attacking you, Paul. I don't want you to think we're attacking you, but you
no,
gotta understand
this devolved into stats debates. But my original query was that my original point was that this riot happened because of a sensationalization of a shoot that has nuance to it, not a straight out, oh, they just shot down a black man that was doing nothing in the street. You see, that's how the media
that cop that shot that kid.
That's how the media painted Jake.
Been charged.
So that's how they painted Jake as this perfect dude. He was just walking down the street, got shot. Well, no, that's not actually what happened. And then they rioted. Okay, so there's nuance to this, and that led to the Rittenhouse thing, which then led to the trial, which then led to more division, and led to him being called a supremacist. Now, this is now the media's narrative that he's a white supremacist.
Are we Judge Dredd? Are we Judge Dredd? Are we Judge, jury,
and executioner? Did he go down there and start shooting people indiscriminately, Lunga? I didn't realize that.
No. Answer the question, because here's the thing: anytime someone like when they're shot, it's like I didn't look up if these guys did all the crazy shit that people said they did. Whatever the case is, okay. We still have laws, okay.
Yeah,
the laws state that they got to go to trial, innocent until proven guilty, and then if they found guilty, they pay their punishment. Right? It doesn't mean that someone on the street who shoots them and then retroactively they go, oh well, you know what? They were this anyway, so who cares? That is completely treating human life like it's frivolous. And if you could do that to them, it can happen to anyone. That's what laws mean.
That is actually a right wing, like it's putting up as a savior, which I disagree with. I think he was stupid for going there. But did he have a legal right to go there? Yes. Did he have a legal right to bear the arm? Yes. Did he have a legal right to shoot those people when they were attacking him on the ground? Yes. That's why he was exonerated. Like, if we're talking about legalities, that's why he was exonerated. All this white supremacy, all this other stuff, but under the law, he was found not guilty, Roberto. Like, that's the point I'm making. So if we want to talk about that, we can talk about that. But under the law, he's not guilty, and under the legal system that I watched the full trial, he's legally incorrect. Okay, everything he did. Now, was he morally or ethically good for going there? We had a debate about that earlier, and I would agree that it was stupid for him to go there. It was dumb.
Not just stupid to go there. He could have gone there, but if he brought a gun, like here, people say the dichotomy of. He was just defending himself. He was brave when he's crying on the stand because he did not want to kill someone, okay? He brought that gun, and I don't give a shit what anyone says. This is going to be a huge assumption. I get it. There's no facts when I say this. He brought that gun to make a statement, okay? He didn't plan on doing it. I'm not saying he planned on killing someone or murdering anyone. He brought that gun to make a statement, to show I'm going to walk down the street with this gun because I'm on this side of the fence and I'm not scared to defend myself. He brought it as a statement, okay? Not because it was a legit risk of his life, okay? And Walker said something in the comments about use that same energy with rioters. Guess what? I've said over and over again, Antifa rioters need to be arrested and they need to be punished and put in jail if they're convicted of their crime. I don't think they should be shot in the street dead, though, just for breaking a window. Same way, that... Just because Kyle Rittenhouse has a gun in his hand, if he's carrying it legally, he doesn't need to be shot dead. I have the same energy. But this is the topic right now. So this is what we're talking about. So if you want me to digress and just go on this rant about Antifa, I can. Not you. I was talking about what Walker said in the comments. I can go on a tangent, but that's not what we're talking about. So let's
digress into stats and stuff because I brought up some stuff to back what I was saying. Like the point I was trying to make was that this was sensationalized, but look, this is the truth of it. The lefties had an opportunity here during this trial to say, look at the prosecution, look how inept they're being, look how shady they're being with the evidence they're presenting, look how shifty they've done. They breached the Braden law, I think it's called, like once as well. These guys should be brought up on charges themselves for some of the stuff they did in that trial. And they could have come together with the right and said, look at the injustice and look at what the black man and other people go through in the court system. This is what the prosecution does to them. Right, railroads them.
All these cases are social battlegrounds. That's why they're put up in the media that way.
It's the left constructed a narrative that he was a white supremacist, that he was there to kill people, that he crossed state lines with a rifle, which is not true. CNN had to do an entire thing where they walked back every lie they said before he sued their asses, like that poor soul did that was like standing in front of the Indian when it was actually the Indian that approached him, or sorry, First Nation that approached
That's
him.
fine. And I've never said that he should have been convicted of murder. He was obviously defending himself. I never said he should have been convicted of murder. But at the same time, he was dumb for being there, and not even dumb for being there. If he wanted to exercise his right to protest, go ahead, okay. But when the moment you're bringing a gun, I'm sorry, you're asking for trouble. You know, and I don't care who. If there's Antifa people bringing a gun, you're asking for trouble. When they're bringing baseball bats, you're asking for trouble, okay? And I don't care what side of the fence you're on. You're asking for trouble when you're bringing weapons. Yes. Because rarely are they used in self-defense. They're usually used because you think someone's threatening you. They're talking loud at me. Whack! You know, I mean, it's just...
You're going into a situation where you think that you're going to be attacked. So that's why...
Then he could have brought a handgun. He could have bought something he could have...
No, he couldn't, because a handgun's illegal for him to carry.
You shouldn't be going into a situation where you're going to be attacked if it's not your job or profession.
If you're that scared, and that's the other thing. If you're that scared, you got to carry a semi-automatic weapon with you, you don't need to fucking be there.
Right. And
because apparently you couldn't handle it because when you're in court, you're crying like a little fucking baby. So apparently you do not have that kind of courage, right?
I wouldn't mock him for that. Look, the guy, he's getting treated for PTSD. Look,
I'm not mocking him for that. But if you're gonna claim PTSD, all this other shit, and he's such a scared guy, why do you have the balls to go there with a fucking gun, Paul?
This is the thing. I think you're right. He had like the I've got kahunas, whatever. We can assume his motives, right? The problem is that now, like after the fact, he killed 3 guys. So he did it.
It's okay, bro. You gotta go.
Yeah,
when you go by the letter of the law, he didn't murder anyone. It was self-defense. If they attacked him, it was self-defense.
Hang on, guys.
Yeah, hold on for a second.
And like pointed at his head before he shot him.
Thanks, JJ. Fellas, I'm out.
Yeah.
This was a great show. I think we should start them a little early when we have a fire topic like this, man.
I told you guys it would be fire. I told you. I said it's gonna be fire.
Respect to all of you.
It is because it's tribalized, man. It's tribalized. People, and this is why I try to look at it in the middle because it's insane.
This was great.
See you later, man.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one,
later, bro. Take care.
Yeah, go ahead,
and it's like when I was on another stream with a bunch of idiots where I was trying to make the same argument and I was instantly kicked because I'm defending pedophiles. That's what I was called. It's like you guys idiots. No. If they're pedophiles, they need to go to court, go to jail, serve their time. We live in a land of laws. No one is Judge Dredd. We're not allowed to just murder people on the streets.
But the left-wing media were doing the same thing about Riddler, about him being a white supremacist. Like, who cares? It has nothing to do with the facts of the trial. The trial was, did he shoot these guys in self-defense or not? Who cares if he hung out with crowd?
Hold on. Now, this isn't. I'm not saying he is or not because I don't know what's in his heart and mind. Okay.
Exactly.
But let's say, but I'm just going by what. I'm just going by what you said. You said, "Who cares if he's a white supremacist?" Now, hold on a minute. If someone has a predisposition to think that another race is not worthy of living, I don't think they should be carrying a gun on the street. I'm not going to be comfortable with that. You know what I mean? And that could be anyone. If there was a Black Panther saying Whitey need to die and he's on the street with a gun, I'm not going to be very comfortable.
What I'm saying is that for the facts of the trial, it made no difference. It was.
No, but that's what lawyers do, Paul. They don't attack the facts.
It was the media, man. The media trumped up that he was a white supremacist.
Yeah, the media is mostly the media. Sure. But is the discussion how bad the media is, or is the discussion on what society is doing? The media is the media. We know what they are. We know what they are, and each person has to choose themselves what they believe from the media. I try to ingest multiple sources, okay, just so I can get both sides, and then I usually make my decision in the middle based on because I know both sides are full of shit. So,
Did you catch the celebrations from White Wingers? The cringe, man.
No.
Oh,
I didn't watch any of that shit. Fuck that. That was.
I think JJ had another question for Paul.
Well, no. I just wanted to know where he was at because you guys were talking about experiences. And Lunga, I'm assuming you're in the U.S.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You're in Australia. You're only subjected to whatever you can find on the internet because you're not here or in Canada. It's just all a matter of experience, and if you can't truly understand the experience that the gentlemen were trying to explain, you can never get a full grip on it.
Right. Paul, just like the Americans saying that Australia and Canada are fascist regimes that need to be freed.
Right, exactly.
I have no problem with your arguments, man. You did have some legitimate shit going on there, but I'm just saying, not being in the States, you're only limited to what you can experience on the internet.
Well, that's true, but I can also say an objective opinion on certain events. Like I can have an opinion outside of like events. I can look at the Kyle Rittenhouse trial and know the law and read the law and read up on what's going on, and then watch the witnesses come forward, watch the prosecution, the defense present evidence. I can understand the legal system, and I can see that he should have been found not guilty, which I thank goodness that he was found not guilty, because that's the right decision. He legally was not guilty of what they were accusing him of. So, like I can do that. But when you say talking about being a race or something, you're right. I can't, like the way that Danny described it to me was a good way to describe it.
I mean, I think he should have been brought up on firearm charges because he had a friend purchase it for him and kept it in Wisconsin for him to come up there.
But that's the thing, because because he couldn't legally purchase it, but unfortunately the prosecution didn't charge that.
Well, that wasn't one of the charges, right?
Yeah,
they thought that the reason why they didn't, and this is just again amateur legal.
I
am not a lawyer, guys.
They were going for they were going for murder one. Like that's
this is my assumption. When you put one of those little lesser charges at the bottom, it opens up the door for a plea deal to take charges just for those, and the other shit gets dropped. So that's why I didn't even want to put those. That's why I didn't even want to put those on the table.
Correct. They wanted all or nothing, and it was not the first time the
but
prosecution made it.
He could still be, because it wouldn't be double jeopardy. It's a completely different charge. He could still be charged for gun charges. Now that won't be much. Most likely, if he has no offense, he's a minor. Technically, it'll be a slap on the wrist and probation and and shit like that.
They probably won't be worth the money to bring it to trial.
No. Then that's why they won't, and it'll seem like anti-claim. It'll seem like a loss on top of a loss, even if they win.
Yeah, exactly. It'll seem like desperation by the state, basically. So I agree with what you were saying, JJ. Like I can look at from observing from outside, but I can also look at social systems. I can look at like how countries have run in the past. I can look at patterns, and I can have a look at like how these things. And unfortunately, America, and also it is a. I don't know if Enzo will agree with this or not. But for me, like the States is like a beacon of like what the West is. Like the freedoms that you have, no one else in the West has. Like freedom of speech, the Bill of Rights, all those things only exist in America.
All these other countries have democracy like we do in a constitution, but they do not have
freedom. Yeah, we don't have ratified freedom of speech and right to bear arms, et cetera, et cetera. So, like, when I see this stuff happening, I fear for America, because the fall of America means the fall of the West for me. And when I see people rioting in the streets, continued civil unrest, which looks like it's heading towards a civil war, and I watch the media stoke those fires on purpose, right? It looks like the government is actually funding them to do this thing, right?
You see?
And then you have people burning down businesses, so they're more reliant on the government to give them handouts. So they're more reliant on the government, so they're going to vote that government in again. This is the problem I see. And there's an argument to be made about, the foot's on the race boot, like the race boot's on my neck, and I'm sick of it, and I want to riot and be civil unrest about it, right? And that's the reason this is happening. But there's also an argument to be made that they're literally funding it. Like someone said in the comments earlier, there were literal bricks in the middle of BLM protests there was no construction around. There were just pallets of bricks just sitting there for them to pick up and throw through windows. Who delivered those bricks?
But here's the thing, Paul. Money plays. Here's the thing about money. Money doesn't give a shit about your color. Okay, and this is the thing. You guys say, sure. Are there far left activists with lots of money that help fund, like George Soros and people that help fund these things? Sure. Sure, there are. But you know what else people completely think is just, oh, that's just business. What they fail to understand is how many conservative white businessmen with tons of money who literally go in and gut neighborhoods and then gentrify it. And so the injustice when it comes to who has the money and the power can be on either side, Paul. But at the end of the day, all the money and power is still 95, 98% in the hands of white men. That's just still a fact. Yeah. So it's how they're using it. Now people are getting mad because there's liberal white men using that, flexing that power. And all that's doing is balancing what conservative ones have been doing.
Right, and like I said earlier,
though, Paul, 50 years because the liberals tell the black community that they're the party of the people, but they haven't done nothing.
Oh, that's a lie. No, that's a lie. There's plenty of black people who know the Democrats are full of shit, and they literally want to keep them. Again, this is Democrats, United States only. We're not talking about anywhere else in the world. But Democrat Party in the United States, they do want to keep minorities disenfranchised because they want that voting block, and they promise overpromise all this shit, and then underdeliver on it, and just give them breadcrumbs to keep them happy and stay content with their servitude of where they're at. Yeah, that's a thing, and there's black people all over that think. But the answer to the problem in the United States is there's two-party system. Two-party system, right? And they think, oh, you need to come to the Republicans. And it's like, nah, you bastards are just as bad. So it doesn't, where did the black people go?
and I'm going to say this, Paul, because and a lot of people, yes, the media fans the fame. But like I said, all these things that come out, it's not the media that reports them first. The Arbery, the George Floyd, all that shit comes out on the internet first. People already make but this is what I'm saying. But this is what I'm saying. People already make up their minds when they see it first, and then the media will enhance that, right? So you can't really blame the media. The media is there to propel it. But people already have in their minds. People already had in their mind that George Floyd was fucking guilty of whatever the fuck he did to die before the media ever came out and said what they said. You know what I mean? So that's my point. It's not all
any report, any media, anything you look at, you read, you watch, anything. Guess what? You're already getting secondhand information.
Right. What were you going to say,
Can
Paul?
I just say something? The problem is like what Poe just said, like Lunga is speaking facts, and last I thought Lunga is not white, right? Why do we need to see the things through the prism of race always? Like, why does it always have to be the prism of race?
And
like, why
until
can't
it
we just see the prism of who we are?
Exactly.
Well, no, I mean, it goes back both ways.
Wasn't America founded on individual liberties?
And the backs of slaves, I guess.
No, Mads, I'm not even going to play this game with you, okay? If you're going to sit here and tell me I'm not tan enough for the icon, okay?
Look,
let's not even go there, okay? I'm sorry, maybe I've had I'm going for disability and I've rarely leave the house in the last few years, so I'm not getting as much sun as I normally do. But in the summer, I'm darker than yellow if I go outside, okay? I have naturally tan skin. I'm Sicilian, and if you're confused about that, look up Sicilian heritage. And when I say I'm Sicilian, I'm not talking about my grandmother was Sicilian, and I've been in this country for 100 years. Both my parents were born in Sicily. I have an Italian passport. I'm 100% Sicilian. So I do have Arabic blood. I do have black blood. I do have Sicilians. No offense, but people need history lessons apparently. Sicilians in Italy are treated the way black people are treated in the United States.
That's true.
They're not even just Sicilians. It's from like Naples south. There's parts of the north that wants to secede from Italy because they look at them. They look at us like minorities. They look at and the reason why the mafia started was because of that. Sicilians are looked at as mixed. They're not looked at as pure.
Yeah.
I'm tan. I'm sorry if you think my icon's not dark enough for you, but I can guarantee you this: I'm sure as hell not darker than you.
Paul, you were going to
see the
say
problem
something?
Here? No, this is the thing. You see, the prism of race. The problem with prism of race is the cops used to do that in Australia during the White Australia policy. They used to have cards with a varying assortment of black all the way to the white, and they used to hold them up to Aboriginal skin to see what kind of Aboriginal they were. This is the problem. It's coming back. We're going full circle where everyone sees through the prism of race. You even said it yourself, Enzo, that like people, like black people, look at other black people who are half
light skin. Yeah.
and they look at them as you're not full black, you're not black or whatever, right? Like there's racism within the class of people now, and they're doing exactly what the white cops used to do here in Australia, where they used to find out what kind of caste you were, and they used to have midnight and all these racist terms for them, right? Like they literally full circle. I can't, ironically, I just think that Americans have this issue where they see things through the prism of race, and it's this intersectional thought system that has infected your like ideology, where like you're taught to think of things through race, sexuality, gender, like all these things. And people will say this is a right wing talking point. It's not really. It's a centrist talking point, because I really just don't think it's healthy for people to see things through these prisms of groupthink. Whereas you can see things as individuals, or like, hey, we have stuff in common. We can talk about this stuff together. We love music. We can be black or white. Like, I just don't see the point of groupthink.
You are 100%, Paul, and in a perfect world, that would be great. The problem is, I think she was just joking with you.
Oh my God,
Lunga.
No, you know what? No, it's not. But you know maybe if we talked on a daily basis, I'd take the joke. Let's put it that way.
I feel you.
All right, real quick. I've said this many times, and I'm going to say it again. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 2021. Okay, we as a people should be a lot further along than what we are, but we're not. And we're not.
No, I'm not shitting on black people. I'm shitting on everyone. Anybody that holds the ideology of thinking through race think, or even like gender think, or anything like that. We're a human race, pose. We're the human race. Like, everyone should be treated with equality and equal. It doesn't matter what caste you are, or like how white you are, how black you are, how Asian you are, whatever it is. There's going to be a day when we're all as black as Nzo, because
go ahead, you know what I was, to finish out what I was saying real quick, and then I'll be through with the particular subject. Okay, we as a people should be a lot further along than what we are right now, but we're not, because change takes time. I don't even think we will change in the next century. It's a slow burn. It's just something that is going to take its time. It's so hard to keep moving forward if we keep taking 2 steps back. That's what I meant earlier. It's got to stop.
You see this comment?
Wake up.
What I'm talking about. Like, you immediately think that I'm talking about black people when I was saying ideologies and stuff, and about groupthink. I literally was talking about the human race. I was talking about people on Twitter, which isn't a real place, and other places where people think in terms of race and gender and creeds and all these things, and groupthink, where we don't think actually we're the human race. We should help each other to be better people. That's what I was talking about. I don't care what creed or race anybody is. I want everyone to just be better and actually care for each other, because we're all humans. Like, that's what I was making a point of.
And we all on this panel want everything to be better, but and it's not just people. Governments need to change. You understand? It's not just us. Until the governments change, until law enforcement change, until we actually feel like we get equal rights, it's always going to be about race. Does it have to be? Should it be? Absolutely not, because we are all one people. Look, we get on a panel, we can discuss this, we can argue, and we can leave here and say, yeah, man, great conversation, great show, and whatever, right? But the real world isn't like that yet. And maybe one day it will be, but right now it's not. And these are the topics, and these are why I have to do these kind of shows, so that we can get these discussions out. That's all. You know what I mean? Hopefully one day shit will change. I wish it does. I hope it does. You know what I mean? I hope I can walk down the street without being called the N-word. But right now it's not happening. So
I don't like that. I think that's shit.
It is shit. 100%.
It is.
You know what I mean?
It's one word in the English language I wish they would just delete.
I do too. As a black man, I do too. I don't want that word anymore.
I got to be honest with you. Like, even with me, I mean, we've joked around about this. Paul, if I'll make one Twitter, Paul's like, I thought you didn't argue this stuff, Lunga, but he knows he does it on purpose because he knows I really don't. And one time I do, he like tries to fuck with me. But I don't. I stay out of these conversations because it's not something I even want to discuss. But, and I know it's going to sound cliche and everyone's going to call me an SJW now, but here's the thing. If I, as a white person with my tan skin, can help other white people understand what's going on, not understand how to be black, understand what's going on, I feel sometimes that I should do that. I should do that. If a person says I want equality, I should put my money where my mouth is, and I should say something when I see it, because other white people are only going to get it if other white people tell them. They're not going to get it when black people tell them. They're not going to get it when other minorities tell them. They're going to get it when they get pushback from other white people, because it's like, wait, I thought you were on my team. And now, that's not to say there aren't some crazy ass fucking lefties out there that soak this shit up. I mean, you see them white women causing more problems than any black person is at these riots. They do this shit. They're dumb, okay? And they also are doing it for the wrong reasons. They're doing it because of white guilt. They're doing it because they feel bad as a white person, and it's some kind of penance for them. It's so fucked up. Some of these far left people are fucking insane. They look at it as some kind of penance, and they have to do this. And not only that, they also do it as a method of selfishness. Like, look, I'm one of the good ones. And you know, and like that's
virtue signaling, Lunga. That's what it is.
Yeah, and that's the issue. So that's why I try to stay out of it, because I'm not like that. But if there's a chance where I might be able to make a difference, where my voice as a white person can maybe reach some ears and make people at least think, then I'll do it.
Exactly. And with that being said, guys, it was a great show. We are going to close it up. Hey, man, I do appreciate Paul. I do appreciate Lunga. I do appreciate JJ coming in here. Donnie, of course. I'm going to let you guys run through your channels so you can talk about your channel. Run through the panel so you can talk about your channels. We'll start off with Paul. Paul, talk to the people. Tell them about the channel, sir.
Yeah, my channel is my name right there, HalogenHelix. I don't talk about politics on my channel. I talk about pop culture, so that's fun. It's not this at all. So this is a nice little breath of fresh air when I get on here to talk about these things. But yeah, if you want to pop by, I'm doing a post Thanksgiving stream for Saturday for me, Friday for you people, and I'll be going earlier than normal. So yeah, come along. We'll talk about pop culture and discuss the latest things like Hawkeye, which I haven't watched yet. So
tonight?
No.
I watched it this morning. I was supposed to watch it with Nzo last night, and I'm like, I ain't gonna make it. I ain't gonna make it.
It's okay. I almost didn't make it either, and then I couldn't sleep, and I just popped it up. But I lied on my couch and did the watch party. What'd you think of it, Lunga, before we go?
Hawkeye? I liked it. I mean, there was a few little nitpicky things that kind of annoyed me. But overall, Renner as Clint Barton, this is one of the few cases where I'll say when it comes to comedy in superhero movies, he knows how to do it. His lines and his quips are perfectly placed because it's that exasperated, like, oh, here we go again. You know, that kind of shit. Yeah. Like, I'm too old for this shit. I don't want to be dealing with this anymore. You know, so the comedy is perfectly placed with him. And so far, Haley Steinfeld has played off of him well, but I don't think I've seen enough of her yet. Already, just the introduction of Echo, I'm like, yeah, I'm not interested in this villain at all. At all. I'm like, this isn't going to matter to me. The Tracksuit Mafia, that was fucking hilarious, bro. That shit was hilarious. Bro. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. But there was a joke there, right? The joke was, obviously, he made some serious enemies as Ronin. And he points out to her that, oh, there's people way more dangerous than these guys. They're there to be a joke, to be a foil, to say, oh, yeah, look, it's silly. Because even he wasn't taking it seriously. He's tied up, and he's like, all right, I want to talk to your boss. They're all pointing guns at him, and he wasn't even, like, perturbed by it. Why? Because it's the Tracksuit Mafia. So he didn't care. But there's other more dangerous ones, and that's what we're going to see as the series goes on.
Yeah. Talk about your channel. First, I got to say, wow, Pickle said episode 2 was great.
Oh, the world's coming to an end.
Fucking right. Holy shit.
He just opened the first of the 7 seals.
I have to
coming. Locusts are coming with people's faces. The water's turning to blood.
Pickle likes a Disney Plus series.
Wow. I'm impressed. Okay, Lunga, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I got great console, guys. You know where to find me. But there's not gonna be any much going on there. Like right now, I'm on my backup computer doing this, which is why I'm not really on cam and why this looks so shitty. Because I'm on the backup computer. I just brought it over to Best Buy Geek Squad. I have the service plan, even though it's a home built computer. First time in 15 years, I can't figure out what the fuck is going on of building computers. So I brought it over there. I'm having a look at it. Hopefully, I can get it back within a week and get back to regular schedule. But yeah, that's where we're at.
Cool. And last but not least, my homeboy JJ. Talk to the people, JJ.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy JJ. You can find me a little bit everywhere and a whole lot of nowhere. But as far as my channel goes, I'm not really doing too much right now. I'm just still taking my time. I took a hiatus, just easing back into it. Most of the time, you'll find me over on Chaos Central with Nzo and Chris and Danny and a few other guys hanging out, talking 3 different topics, having great conversations like this. Maybe not as intense, but still great conversations. Now, sometimes Nzo will throw something in there and we'll get a little bit out rambunctious with it, but you know how that goes. And sometimes I do, when I go back to doing my stuff, I'll do a random movie review on Wednesday nights. When I do come back, the movie we'll be doing is Van Damme's Kickboxer.
Oh, shit, yes.
Yeah. And you'll find me on Chris Knight's channel on Sundays for the weekly wrap-up. And Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective for Going Old School Retro Discussions on Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern. And 2 hours after that, Darius Munchausen for Hangout by Proxy at 8 p.m. Eastern. Check these guys out, man. Thank you for everybody in the chat for showing up, and thank you, Alonzo, for letting me come up.
That is correct. And thank you guys for subbing to Paul. Sub to Lunga, too, the Great Council. If you're not a part of Lunga's show, sub to his show, man. Lunga and Yello, they're on point, man. And Paul's on point, too. You know what I mean? It's just
and Stormy. We do What the Rank on Thursdays.
Yeah,
me and Stormy. I'm really, really having fun with that show too. Me and her have a great time doing it.
It is great. It is great, man. And that's why I said make sure you guys sub. I'm pretty sure Lunga has Stormy's description on her channel. She has her own channel, right?
Yeah, she doesn't really do anything though. And when anyone asks her about her channel, she's like, "I'm over here on the Great Council." So she like, yeah. She was doing some gaming, but I don't even think it's her channel. I think she was on a relative's channel, if I may be wrong on that. But it's like here and there. But yeah, she does do stuff there. Poe, channel name, The Great
Council. Poe, check my little box there where all the channels are. Lunga's
I think it's in there.
Yeah, Paul is there. JJ is there. If anybody's here is not signed to JJ, JJ I stream with all the time, so I'm sure most people are. But if you're not, make sure you sub to JJ too. His channel is there as well in the description box. Man, I do appreciate all you guys to come in. And you know, we come in here, we talk these topics, it gets heated, but at the end of the day, we leave here and everything is fine and dandy. You know what I mean? Ain't no hate for nobody. Paul Lunga, still my boys. JJ, still my boys. It's just that I feel like we have to have these discussions once in a while. You know what I mean? It's great conversation. And hey, man, if you guys liked it, make sure you hit that like button as well. With that being said, peace, love, and hair grease, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.